Well, if you're a college football fan, you're going to love tonight. If you like to see the ball in the air, if you want to see every play be a pass play, you're rooting for Florida. If you're someone that likes the running game, if you like hard-nosed defense, hey, you're going to root for Nebraska.
Well, let's talk about Nebraska, and again, Tommy Frazier, the man who makes them go. How about Tommy?
Well, Tommy Frazier is the most difficult player in college football to try and defend. He can hurt you three ways, with the run, the pitch, and the pass. Here we see Frazier on the option. Somebody for Florida tonight must be there to make sure they take Frazier every time. Otherwise, he'll run down the field like a tailback.
And when he's not running, he's really seducing you, setting you up to make a pitch like this.
And if you overplay Frazier with too many defenders, the pitch man will be wide open. They have three tailbacks that average over 7 yards per carry. They'll run down the field for touchdowns.
Like Kgin did right there against Colorado. And then the last option, Frazier, gives them the passing game.
Tommy Frazier will try to draw the defense to one side of the field, then come back with a great play-action pass, use his tremendous athleticism to hit open receivers. He can throw the football.
He can indeed. He's a man who's thrown 17 touchdowns this year and only 4 interceptions. But let's talk about the passing game at Florida, a team that threw 48 touchdown passes this year. Danny Werfel accounting for 35 of them.
Well, Florida is different. They like to spread the field with 4 and 5 wide receivers. They will put 5 wideouts across the width of the field, and then they will have Danny Werfel drop 3 steps back and try to hit open receivers. The key to the Florida offense is protection. If they can protect Danny Werfel, they'll hit open receivers.
Boy, they got speed. You get them in the open field, look out, but this is what they must avoid.
Nebraska is going to try to put the heat on Werfel tonight. If Nebraska can break his rhythm, break his timing, they're going to be tough to beat.
Certainly one of the biggest elements in Tom Osborne's game plan, to get to Danny Werfel. Just a moment ago, it was Bill Cosby handling the honors for the coin flip. Nebraska won the toss and deferred. Florida will receive to start this game. We have Michelle Tafoya tonight on the Florida sideline. Michael Barkan will be handling things from the Nebraska bench area. Right now, let's go down to Michael Barkan. Michael?
Well, Jim, how big is this game for Nebraska tonight? Normally, the team watches video highlights of prior games before coming over to the stadium. A change in plan tonight. Not only do they watch those highlights, but in addition, listen to speeches from the seniors. Particularly stirring and poignant is defensive tackle Christian Peter, who speaks about the togetherness this team has had all year long. When he is finished, his teammates are in tears. Nebraska should be juiced tonight. We'll send it over to Michelle Tafoya.
All right, Michael. Well, 2 injuries to speak of as far as the Florida Gators are concerned. Senior defensive tackle David Barnard has started all season long. His status was questionable until minutes ago. He will start. He suffered a stinger in practice on Friday. Look for Keith Counsell to relieve him if he cannot play full speed. Also, a critical backup in the secondary, Shea Showers, will play sparingly, if at all. He sprained his ankle also on Friday. One more note. Offensive coordinator Carl Franks told me tonight that until as late as this morning, Steve Spurrier was designing brand new formations that no team has seen all season long. Now let's send it back upstairs to Jim Nance.
All right, Michelle. Chris Brown ready to kick. Nebraska again, Terry, won the toss but elected to give Florida the chance to take the football first.
Well, you know, Steve, Jim, I've never seen 2 teams that are more confident than these 2 teams. They reflect the attitude of their head coaches. I just never seen anything like it.
Riedel Anthony will run it back for the Gators. Anthony, another speedster, and look out across the 30 to the 40-yard line. A big return by Riedel Anthony.
What a great way for Florida to open this game up.
Jaquez Green running that one back, actually. And watch Jaquez Green.
One of the interesting things here is that Tom Osborne felt coming into this game that his team had the advantage in the kicking game. And here Florida opens up the game with a great return.
Well, Danny Werfel at quarterback had the best year statistically any quarterbacks had in college football history, breaking the single season pass efficiency mark of Jim McMahon. The 35 touchdowns led the country in that total as well. Werfel's backs and somewhat overlooked Elijah Williams, who rushed for 858 yards. Jerome Evans is the fullback. Tremaine Allen, they seldom go to the tight end. Chris Doring and Ike Hilliard combined for 32 touchdown catches. The offensive line started every game this year with Jason Odom, a 4-year starter, and Reggie Green as well. Same thing. 4 years starter on that line. Jeff Mitchell, Donnie Young, Mo Collins.
One of the real matchups that's going to be very interesting to watch tonight is Mo Collins against the All-American Jared Tomich.
Now, Collins played on that right side all season long, but Tomich is the All-American. Kgin Walton on the opening kickoff.
I think that'll be one of the big matchups of the night.
So Walton assisted to the sideline, and there's a look at Mo Collins. Again, he started all 12 games, a redshirt freshman against Jared Tomich. Let's see how early Steve Spurrier decides to spread things for this Gator attack. In fact, right away, he's going with 3 receivers, with Hilliard and Doring and Riedel Anthony. Fourth receiver is Jaquez Green. We'll see a lot of him also. He's the man who returned that opening kick out to the 40-yard line. Here come the Gators. 3 wides to the right. Three-step drop. And Florida near a first down at the 50-yard line. Chris Doring, give him 9 yards. Mike Minter on the coverage. They spread him out right away. Here's Nebraska, a defense that had 2 shutouts this year. Tomich, we've talked about him. The Peter brothers from New Jersey, Christian and Jason. Grant Wistrom, a sophomore. Linebackers Foreman, Ellis, and Farley in the secondary that will be tested. Booker and Tyrone Williams, Mike Minter and Tony Beeland. Second down and 1, staying with 3 receivers in the game. Werfel's pass intercepted and then dropped. Incomplete. Terrell Farley first deflected it, grabbed it for a moment, but not long enough. It'll set up 3rd and 1. Terrell Farley starting the final 5 games of the year for the Cornhuskers. Boy, did he make some big plays down the stretch of the season for Nebraska.
Jim, this is one of the things that Nebraska wants to do. They want to disrupt the timing of Danny Werfel. This is a way of doing it. Getting your hands up in the air, knocking a ball down, get him off his rhythm.
He was looking ahead downfield, ready to run with it. 3rd and 1. Out of the eye, Elijah Williams has the first down. So the Gators escape an early turnover, near turnover, and pick up the first down in Nebraska territory. It's a Pac-10 crew. Certainly you're familiar with this bunch. Tell us about them, Terry.
It's a good crew tonight, Jim. I've seen this crew. We've had them in our own games at UCLA, and I think we've got an excellent group here.
Jamel Williams has come in for Jay Foreman in that Cornhusker defense. 1st and 10, still with Doring, Hilliard, and Riedel Anthony, the receivers. With pressure, they get to Werfel this time. And there's Jared Tomich in that whole group of Cornhuskers. That's the matchup against Collins that you alerted us to, Terry, before the game.
Well, this is the whole Nebraska plan. Keep Danny Werfel off guard. Here we see Jared Tomich coming in, putting pressure on him. Werfel tucks the ball away, does a great job of not fumbling that football.
Lost 4 on the play. Tomich said everybody has a breaking point. We're going to try to find it in this game against Werfel. Jerome Evans is the fullback now in this formation on 2nd down and 14. Pass caught. Doring down to the 32 and another Gator first down.
One of the interesting things about that play, Jim, is that Florida only had 2 wide receivers out, protected with all of the other offensive blockers, and that time they were able to give Danny Werfel the time that he needed to hit that pass.
Chris Doring, record-setting receiver for the Gators. Look at him across the middle, picking up 20 yards on that play. First down from the Nebraska 32. Short drop again. Doring slicing across the middle for another first down. 11 yards this time. Doring with 3 receptions on this opening series.
Well, it hasn't taken him long to get into the game plan, Jim. This guy, every program needs a player like Chris Doring. He came to Florida as a walk-on, always wanted to attend the university there, and here he is, the all-time leading receiver in the history of the school.
All right, they flood that right side this time. 7th play of the opening drive. First down for the Gators. Warfel. Farley was coming after him, man open. It's Doring again. He is wide open out there and out of bounds at the 6. Unable to match up with Chris Doring on the opening drive.
Jim, the key to this play to me was the great athleticism of Danny Werfel. Nebraska put an awful lot of pressure on him. He scrambled around, found an open receiver downfield. This is just one athlete making a great play in a championship game.
Doring, a walk-on at the start of his career, born to be a Gator football player, has set them up first and goal at the 5. Looking right side. It's Doring again. He let him too much. Mike Minter trying to stay with him, but Doring had a step on him.
Right now, the Nebraska defensive backs are having a hard time matching up against the Florida speed. Florida has great speed, and they are utilizing it already in this first drive of the night.
Florida in scoring range inside the 20 this year, getting touchdowns 3/4 of the time.
That's why they're in the championship game, Jim.
And Nebraska's over 80%. Second and goal. Handed off with Williams losing a yard. Elijah Williams hit first by Jason Peter.
Jason Peter, along with Christian Peter, they're the hammers in the inside of the Nebraska defense. One of the very best rushing defenses in the country. Florida will only counter with the run as a true counter to their passing game.
So here come the Gators. They took that opening kick. The big return by Jaquez Green. What will they do here? Third and goal at the 5. Good time. Pass too high. Doring was the intended receiver. And Steve Spurrier calls for the field goal team.
I'm surprised the way Steve Spurrier likes to play that he's going to kick a field goal. I thought he'd go for 7 here.
You never know what he's going to do. It's so unconventional.
He's the most unpredictable coach in college football right now.
Their field goal kicker was only 6 out of 12 this year. Bart Edmiston. He was the regular kicker 3 years ago. Took a couple of years where he backed up. Now he's returned, and he's opened the game with a 23-yard field goal. So the Gators take the opening kick and march to a field goal. We'll check out Nebraska next.
I can't seem to find my tickets. I must have left them in my other fanny pack. I have a special fanny pack for bowl games, and fellas...
All in favor of kicking Chris out of the fan club, say aye.
Aye. Okay, fine. I'll just take my baked Tostitos with me.
Baked? How good can they be?
What do you think?
Tailgate party!
Hey, I found the tickets.
Really?
No, not really.
Let's get real. Brakes stop your wheels, but tires stop your car. Goodyear AquaTread 2 has a deeper, wider aqua channel than the original AquaTread to sweep water away for outstanding wet traction. AquaTread, only from Goodyear.
Americans have always held a special place for automobiles. And in particular, automobiles that just plain work. It makes sense when you think about it. America is a big place. There is a lot of ground to cover. Americans need to cover ground. But there are more Chevrolets on the roads of America than any other car. More people trust Chevrolet. Why? Probably because they just plain work. And people like that. There is, after all, ground to cover.
To all beef patties, some kind of sauce. La, 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 la. Pickles and onions and some oxtail too. Woo, 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 woo. I got it.
Even if you can't sing the Big Mac song, you can still get it for just 99 cents. The irresistible taste of McDonald's Big Mac. 99 cents for a limited time. So sing it, say it, or just ask for a Big Mac.
Does anybody here have 99 cents? Have you had your Mac today? Does anyone have any money?
How would you react if the IRS said you weren't married?
Are you telling me?
Yep. Every time I forget our anniversary, the law's been on my side.
All New Days World, Wednesday.
Is he in it?
Jim Nance and Terry Donahue, after the Florida Gators took the opening kick and marched all the way to the Nebraska 5, settled for a 23-yard field goal. How about that message in a game like this for the first time?
Well, you know, a lot of people felt that Florida was a team that would be nervous coming into this game. They've never been in the championship game before. Nebraska has. But here they came out with a real statement. They come out, drive down the length of the field, and kick a field goal. That's great for their confidence.
Knowing Spurrier, though, and the mindset he has with offense, he probably walks away a little bit disappointed. You have it at the 5, first down.
Well, I think he probably does, but more importantly, Jim, I think is just to get points on the board in your first drive. That helps your team, helps everybody on the sideline, pumps up your defense, pumps up your kicking teams. I think it's very critical.
Clinton Childs, a good running back also here in Nebraska. He's back deep, along with Damon Binning. And Teague's kick, fielded at the 11, with Childs to the 32. Okay, so they're already exchanging a few words, a little trash talk out there, and a flag.
I think we have a penalty against Florida. That'll add another 15 yards to this kickoff return.
Oh, that would put Nebraska.
Dead ball foul, personal foul against the kicking team. 15-yard penalty, first and 10.
That'll set Nebraska now in excellent shape to open its first series. That brings the football near the 50. Let's call it the 48. It's happened right after Childs was brought down.
At quarterback for Nebraska, number 15, Tommy Frazier.
A little bit of a scuffle there going on after the kickoff, Jim.
Here comes the Huskers, Tommy Frazier under center, and Lawrence Phillips. Left side, only a yard.
Number 1, Lawrence Phillips carries. Tackled by number 48, Dexter Daniels.
Lawrence Phillips.
Number 33.
A controversial start tonight with Jeff Makovica, the fullback, Mark Gilman, the tight end. Wingback is Clester Johnson. Brandon Holbein is the split end. An offensive line, another strong one here at Nebraska, the anchor being Aaron Graham. They have not allowed a sack, by the way, all season. And Frazier threw 163 times. Second down, Phillips. Here goes Lawrence Phillips, breaking one inside the 30. Brought down by Anthone Lott after a 23-yard dash.
Jim, when you get the ball deep to a player like Lawrence Phillips, you're going to get some yards behind that Nebraska offensive line. They're the best offensive line in the country, and the deeper he gets the ball, the more he can see the running lanes develop.
Fullback Jeff Makovica giving a huge block for Phillips to open that hole. And now from the 28. The smooth option operator keeps it down to the 21 with Dexter Daniels making the hit. This is a Florida defense maligned by some, but boy, you look at the figures and that tough SEC. In 7 of their 9 games against the SEC teams they faced, they allowed 1 touchdown or less. On the line, Church, Barnard, Chester, and Campbell. The linebackers, Daniels, who made the last hit, Bates, and Ben Hanks. Longtime leader on this team. Fred Weary and Lott are the corners. Wright and Brown are the safeties. 2nd down and 4. Stopped short of the first. Let's talk about some of the tips here that you have, Coach Donahue, for Nebraska tonight.
Well, Jim, if Nebraska controls the football, they keep Florida's offense off the field. Tom Osborne told me that a lot of teams gave Florida cheap touchdowns because they couldn't line up properly against their offensive team.
And you got Danny Werfel trying to get pressure on Werfel.
And they already have tonight.
3rd down and 2, Nebraska from the 20. Frazier on 2nd effort picks up the first. Broke a tackle of Dexter Daniels, and Lawrence Wright had to wrestle him down at the 16.
One of the keys to the Florida defense tonight is to tackle well. In order to hang in there defensively, Florida has got to tackle Tommy Frazier and the great Nebraska I-backs. On that particular play, Frazier broke a tackle to make that first down.
New set of downs. 6th play of the opening drive for Nebraska. Frazier looking left side now. Wide open over there. Phillips. Phillips inside the 10. Lawrence Phillips scores the game's opening touchdown.
Jim, Nebraska has done this for 30 years. They start their offense one way, and then they come back with a counter play, either a pass or a run. This was a little counter pass from the quarterback back to the tailback for the touchdown.
Chris Brown in, extra point. Blocked. And that's something Florida has specialized in this year.
They've got 7 blocks on the year.
And that actually will make it 8.
You can see right up the middle, we get some penetration. We get defensive man gets his hands up and makes the block.
Mike Peterson was in there, got a hand on it, but Nebraska drives for an opening touchdown.
Like a rock, standing arrow straight, like a rock, charging from the gate, like a rock.
Last year, more than 6 million people got into a Chevy truck. This year, it'll be even easier.
Can France and Italy, Austria and England, Germany, Spain, and the Netherlands ever really agree on a single currency? Actually, they already have. Gold MasterCard. It's accepted at more cash machines around the world.
Excuse me, guys.
Than any other card. Look for your Gold MasterCard invitation in the mail and apply today.
Kevin,
hey.
What happened?
I broke my leg.
Does it hurt?
Feels a lot better now.
Doctor must have given you something strong.
Yeah, Tylenol. Extra strength.
Tylenol? For a broken bone?
Yeah, it's working great. Doc says it's all I need.
More than aspirin, more than ibuprofen. For the pain of broken bones, doctors recommend Tylenol the most.
By the way, how'd you break it?
Laundry. Don't ask.
In the stillness of space, the silence has just been shattered. Critics are calling Screamers smart, scary, sci-fi fun. Screamers, rated R, at theaters January 26th.
Enterprise? Hi, I'm at the repair shop. I need to rent a car.
Enterprise will arrange to pick you up.
This is great.
drive you to our place, and get you on your way. Pick Enterprise. We'll pick you up.
One school, one teacher, one chance to make a difference. Montel Williams is Matt Waters, and starting this Wednesday,
class is in session.
So Florida races down the field with its first possession, gets a field goal. Nebraska, I'll tell you, that 15-yard penalty was a big one, too. They started their series at the 48. They run it 5 times and then throw it for a touchdown.
Jim, it's hard to give Nebraska that kind of field position.
Gators will begin at the 20, but watch the way Tommy Frazier fooled them again.
Well, on this particular play, we have a play-action pass, which we talked about at the start of the game. All of the defensive players are in this area of the field, which allows Lawrence Phillips, the tailback, to slip to the other side and get the ball and go down and score the touchdown.
Aaron Graham.
What a great individual effort by Phillips getting that ball across the end zone.
He had his All-America center, Aaron Graham, down there also trying to take care of a few Gator bodies. So 6-3, Cornhuskers. Florida with the second possession for them. Off the option, something you don't expect to see a lot of. Elijah Williams with Terrell Farley wrestling him out of bounds for no gain.
Jim, I believe we have a holding penalty against Florida.
I think Farley agrees with you.
Illegal block.
An illegal block will back up the Gators. Again, there were some words exchanged after the play. Chris Doring with Tyrone Williams on him this time.
You know, Chris Doring told us before the game in one of the interviews we had with him that he liked to talk a little smack during the games, and wanted to make sure those defensive backs knew that he was a tough guy.
I think they know he's pretty tough now after that first series where he had 4 catches. Talking a little bit to him also. So 1st and 21. They mark off the penalty from the point of the infraction. 1st and 21 from the 9. Dwayne Mobley is the fullback out of the eye. Williams the tailback. Elijah Williams, only 2 yards. Football was loose. They rule him down. This is a Gator program that has really gotten it into gear here in the 90s since Spurrier arrived in 1990. Here are your winningest teams in college football in the decade.
2nd and 19 at the 11.
Second and 19. High formation. Off a play action. Warfel, excellent protection. Throwing across his body. And Doring was the intended receiver. Overthrew him. Scott Saltzman was in on the quarterback a little bit late to put some pressure.
Jim, one of the things that Florida has done already tonight is they have not always every play spread 4 and 5 wideouts across the field. They've kept protectors in to make sure that Danny Werfel doesn't get hit too often.
Here's the formation you drew up in the opening of the game tonight. 5 receivers in for the Gators. 3rd and 19. Quickly, Doring. Doring to the 20, some 10 yards shy of a first. Grant Wistrom made the tackle at the 20. So Florida will punt. It has been a little bit of an area of concern leading up to this game. They have a freshman punter, Robbie Stevenson, who fumbled the snap in the game against Florida State. He's averaged 38 yards a punt.
Jim, Nebraska will have excellent field position following this punt.
Back with Octavius McFarland. Coleman, who ran one back this year. Not anything on this one, though. Tony George made the hit right away. 44-yard punt. No return.
Coleman takes the hit, but Nebraska will have its second possession in a moment.
AT&T introduces a tool that will change the way your business runs. It helps you cut through the latest news, sort financial data, and access internet sites. It organizes the information you need and puts it all right at your fingertips. The AT&T Business Network, the new online service for business. AT&T, for the life of your business.
Of all the things trucks can do, there's one thing that's never been done before. Only Chevy trucks have ever won back-to-back Motor Trend Truck of the Year awards.
To all beef patties, some kind of sauce. La 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 la. Pickles and onions and some other stuff too. Woo 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 woo. I got it.
Even if you can't sing the Big Mac song, you can still get it for just 99 cents. The irresistible taste of McDonald's Big Mac. 99 cents for a limited time. So sing it, say it, or just ask for a Big Mac.
Does anybody here have 99 cents? Have you had your Mac today? Does anyone have any money?
Coming up on HBO.
Oh, right at the best part.
The Late Show with David Letterman. It's a Fiesta 5 nights a week.
Go Huskers! Nebraska leading 6-3, a touchdown by Lawrence Phillips, who got the start tonight. Taking a 16-yard pass from Tommy Frazier. John Vedral has come in as a wingback. Lining up in a slot. Here's Phillips looking for a hole, only about 3 yards. What's been your read on the Phillips story this week?
Well, Jim, I know Tom Osborne. He's a good man, and I think he was faced with a very difficult situation. And my own opinion is that a coach shouldn't be left out there alone. I really believe that when you have a major breach of the law or university policy, the entire university administration, along with the coach, should be involved in making a decision as to whether a player stays on the team, returns on the team, to the team.
2nd and 7. Throw again over the head of Reggie Ball. You know, Coach, along the lines of what you're saying, you know, the thing is, though, when a coach holds all of the power, a byproduct of that autonomy can be his perspective becomes clouded or distorted in some situations. Tom Osborne, as you know, is a deeply spiritual man in his own right. He truly believes he has done the right thing in his handling of Lawrence Phillips. We knew coming here Phillips would play. He's been back playing since the last 3 games. I just questioned the decision earlier in the week by Osborne to start him, and as a result, take this story. Has been raging most of the season and inflame it and somewhat raise that issue again. Is this an improper message starting him? But he starts, and he scores a touchdown on the first series.
Well, I think once you decide that the player's reinstated on the team, once you say that, then I think the best player plays.
Before the snap, ball starts on the offense, 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
Let's talk about Phillips on the field and how he makes them a better team. Amon Green, in his absence, a freshman, a true freshman, rushed for 1,000 yards. But what about Phillips, the player?
Lawrence Phillips is truly one of the great running backs in the country today. He may have won the Heisman Trophy if he had been eligible the entire season.
3rd down, 12. Florida giving a chase. Frazier in trouble. Intercepted by the Gators. So the first turnover of the game committed by Nebraska. Tico Brown, the freshman from Miami, picks off Tommy Frazier. Ed Chester was in on the quarterback when he released it.
Jim, here we see Tommy Frazier releasing the pass, intercepted by Anton Lott. Oh, Tico Brown, excuse me, made that play.
Tico Brown, who in the SEC championship game had 2 fumble recoveries and an interception, picking up right there again with another turnover play. And here comes Florida with Ike Hilliard. Ike Hilliard, a sophomore from Patterson, Louisiana. You know, these 2 receivers we've been watching all night. Doring, they've been just feasting on Doring, trying to go back to him repeatedly. But combined with Hilliard, these 2, I mean, what a combination. They both had total yardage, receiving yardage, over 1,000 yards. And it won't be the last time, I'm sure, we'll see Hilliard tonight. 2nd and 4. Here comes a little razzle-dazzle play. And it's Terry Jackson near the first down at the 44. Let's talk about some of the tips. We saw your tips for Nebraska tonight. Let's see TD's tips on Florida. Well, we'll get to that in just a minute for the Gators. But first, let's watch it. 3rd and 1, 2 tight ends in for Florida. And they get it on the ground, a tough yard. Terry Jackson, I believe he has it.
You know, Jim, I found it very interesting this week in talking to the Nebraska defensive coaches. They felt that they had to make sure that they stopped the Florida running game, not the passing game, the running game. They felt that in order to beat Florida, they needed to make them one-dimensional. If they stopped the run and make them throw every down, they thought they could be in control of the ball game.
Ooh, they're just inches shy, and it's 4th down. Steve Spurrier, he's wrestling with it.
There's no question in my mind what he's going to do. Steve Spurrier is going to go for it. He doesn't even think about punting.
Well, here they come with Terry Jackson in the backfield and 3 receivers on 4th and inches. Now they clear out the backfield. Quarterback sneak, and Phil Ellis may have denied him. Phil Ellis got a last lick on him, and it's awful close. Ellis unhappy with the spot. They go ahead and say 1st down Florida.
Here we see that offensive line of Florida surge ahead. They've all been together for 5 years except for the right tackle, Mo Collins, the young freshman.
So, gutsy call by the gambling Spurrier. 1st and 10. Florida from the Nebraska 43. Timeout call by Werfel. Try to make a read of that Nebraska side, so let's talk it over. So, Florida driving, down 6-3.
Can France and Italy, Austria and England, Germany, Spain, and the Netherlands ever really agree on a single currency? Actually, they already have. Gold MasterCard. It's accepted at more cash machines around the world.
Excuse me, guys.
Than any other card. Look for your Gold MasterCard invitation in the mail and apply today.
Anybody know McDonald's Big Mac song?
To all beef and special sauce lettuce.
Cheese.
Pickles, onions, and a sesame seed bun. Oh, my! To all beef and special sauce.
Onions and a sesame seed bun.
To all beef patty special sauce.
To all beef cheesies. Cheesy beefies.
To all beef patty special sauce. Cheese, pickles, onions, and a sesame seed bun.
I can do anything. Why can't I do this?
Have you had your Mac today?
Florida, an opening 23-yard field goal to first series of the game. Nebraska's first touchdown pass to Lawrence Phillips. Conclusion of this game will be selecting a genuine Chevrolet most valuable player from each team. To date, Chevrolet has contributed almost $5.5 million to the scholarship funds of America's colleges and universities. Kgin Walton, remember on the opening kickoff, the big return by Jaquez Green, and there was a Gator shaken up. Walton hobbling to the sidelines with assistance. We hear it's an ACL injury, and he will not return. So knee injury takes out one of the backup linebackers for Florida's attack. 1st and 10. Play action to the line. Werfel looking to Hilliard. Had a shot at that one down at the 25-yard line. Looked like a catchable ball to me there, Terry.
I think in a big game like this, Hilliard's got to make this catch. It appears that he ought to lay out and catch that ball. Danny Werfel put it right in his hands.
The name Hilliard sound familiar. His uncle, Dalton Hilliard, starred at LSU and for the New Orleans Saints. His brother played at LSU. Louisiana kid. Everyone thought he would join the Tigers, but joined the Gators instead. And Steve Spurrier thrilled to have him. He has scored 19 touchdowns his first 2 seasons. 2nd and 10. One-on-one coverage, trying to find Goring. Michael Booker was right with him. Good coverage on that play.
A special thanks and appreciation for the
The bump and run big tonight for this Nebraska D, isn't it, Terry?
Steve Spurrier told his wide receivers that if they couldn't get off the bump and run coverage, they couldn't win the game. Conversely, the Nebraska defensive coaches leave the bump and run up to the defensive backs. They can play it tight or they can back off the ball and not be up there quite so snug.
Mike Minter coming over to assist on 3rd and 10, 7th play for Florida on this drive, and there's Riedel Anthony for the first down at the 29, 14-yard completion. Another speedster, only a sophomore.
Jim, the way these teams have come out and moved up and down the field, if you're going to play defense tonight, you better order a Gatorade to go, man. This is wild.
We saw Minter coming over right before the snap. He had the coverage, or attempted coverage, on Anthony. And Riedel Anthony sets up Florida inside of the 30. Flags are down. The play whistle dead. Jared Tomich hates to see that happen. He was ready to do a little number on the quarterback.
Dead ball. False start on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
1st and 15 at the 34.
Florida this season, scoring drive, took an average of 2 minutes and 4 seconds.
How would you like to be playing defense in that thing?
This drive's already 2:10. 1st and 15. Werfel looking down toward the end zone. Hilliard was down there, but knocked away by Michael Booker.
We mentioned that one of the keys to this game was the ability of Florida to protect Danny Werfel. Here they pick up the blitz and they give him time to put the ball down the field.
That matchup, Collins and Tomich. Collins got the better of it that time. And look at Booker. Just batted away. So it's 2nd and 15 from the 34. Terry Jackson, Jerome Evans split behind Werfel. More protection and just a pass of the short variety with Phil Ellis coming in on the tackle. Jerome Evans with the grab, only his 4th catch of the year.
Because of what Florida does, Jim, they spread you out across the field. They force you into a lot of man-to-man type situations, and then they run a lot of crossing routes to have your players pick one another off. This is the difficulty that Nebraska has trying to handle those crossing routes.
3rd down and 10. This is about as far out, too, as they could expect from their place kicker. Riedel Anthony down at the 3-yard line. 26 yards. Anthony's second big catch on this drive.
Riedel Anthony simply runs right down the middle of a 2-deep coverage, breaks it off to the inside, and comes up with the reception. Anytime you're in 2-deep coverage, you're vulnerable to a wide receiver in this Florida offense getting down the middle against you.
Nebraska calls the timeout this time. Florida at the 3-yard line.
Kevin, what happened?
I broke my leg.
Does it hurt?
Feels a lot better now.
Doctor must have given you something strong.
Yeah, Tylenol. Extra strength.
Tylenol? For a broken bone?
Yeah, it's working great. Doc says it's all I need.
More than aspirin, more than ibuprofen. For the pain of broken bones, doctors recommend Tylenol the most.
By the way, how'd you break it?
Laundry. Don't ask.
Okay, ladies, ante up. 5-card draw. The juice is wild. You believe these cards?
I'll take 2. We need 3.
I'm out.
$3 million for utility infielder.
I am in the wrong business.
Give me 3.
New baked Lay's. With only 1.5 grams of fat per serving and that great Lay's taste, you can eat like one of the guys, but still look like one of the girls. Baked Lay's potato crisps, but you can't eat just one bag.
It's the second time in this opening quarter the Gators have a 1st and goal to go situation. Last time only managing the 23-yard field goal. Did they take away anything from that experience, you think?
Well, I think that Steve Spurrier will definitely use his offensive line to his advantage this close to the goal line. You know, Florida can run the ball a lot better than people think they can.
2 tight ends. Elijah Williams has come in a tailback. Pitch, Elijah trying to get outside, trying to get past Ellis, makes the move, and they say short of the goal line. Jared Tomich just got him at the last second, tripped him, and he's inches shy of the goal line.
Here we see Ellis, the middle linebacker. He's got him trapped for about a 7-yard loss. And it's a great run by Elijah Williams. This is what outstanding backs can do. They can make you miss. That ball's about 6 inches short of the goal line.
3 receivers to the right, 2nd and goal. Setting up a quarterback sneak again. Werfel just reached out and found the goal line. Touchdown, Florida. Same play they used earlier on this series on the 4th down call near midfield. They cleared everybody out, and Werfel on the sneak first got him a 1st down. This time got him a touchdown.
One of the things that's so hard about this Florida offense is they spread you out and then they can run the ball, or they spread you out and they can throw it.
That's all it takes. Stick that football across the plane, and Edmiston for the extra point, as he has done all season. 72 of 72. Edmiston making it 10-6 Florida. So this game for the national championship. These 2 teams with contrasting styles, a classic matchup really of contrasting styles. And we found out they really both can move the football on the other.
Well, there's no question about that, Jim. The key here is that Nebraska better not fall too far behind. It'll be much more difficult for them to come from behind than it will be for Florida.
Well, Nebraska trying to win back-to-back national championships. Head coach Bob Devaney pulled it off in the early 70s. They played Bear Bryant down at the Orange Bowl. And Nebraska had some weapon back then, a guy by the name of Johnny Rogers, who won a Heisman Trophy. This was Rogers fielding the punt and then racing 77 yards for the touchdown on the final play of the first quarter. The Cornhuskers went on to a 38-6 victory over Alabama and their second consecutive national championship. They're going for 2 straight tonight, but they trail early here, 10-6.
Good job. Let's go now. You're doing play hard, baby.
Teague's kick taken by Childs, weaving near the 30. Dwayne Thomas on the tackle. Having 1 versus 2 with both teams undefeated, that hasn't happened that often. 4 other occasions. 93 Sugar Bowl, where Alabama beat Miami. And you had that Orange Bowl. The Fiesta Bowl, remember that one here. Penn State, Miami, with Penn State prevailing. Phillips. Tough to bring down, out to the 36. James Bates finally bumped him out. Florida's field goal from Edmiston from 23 yards. Back came the Cornhuskers. What did they set him up on this play? Phillips taking the pass out in the flat, going in, extra point blocked. And now Florida on an 11-play drive. 10-6. The 1-yard sneak from the quarterback Werfel. 2nd and 3. Inside they go, and that's Jeff Makovica, the fullback, the senior, his younger brother, one of the backups. Going to be that kind of night. The field coming a little undone. Going to get that turf all inside, stuck inside the face guard.
Jim, one of the ways to stop Tommy Frazier and the Nebraska offense is to keep him off the field, and here that's exactly what Florida's done.
3 receivers in for the Cornhuskers. Phillips to the 50.
The thing that I'm impressed with and not surprised a bit about, Jim, is the fact that Nebraska has come out and not changed their offensive style whatsoever, even though they're behind. Tom Osborne is a very patient coach. He's been in the same offensive design for probably 25 years, and he knows his offense. Eventually, he's going to keep picking away at you until he can find your weakness.
8-yard gain, 2nd down and 2. Final seconds of the first quarter. And wide open first quarter, what people were hoping for. Florida with a touchdown and a field goal. Danny Werfel on the quarterback sneak. The Gators lead after 1, 10-6. We'll continue after this message and a word from your local station.
Here comes one. Oh, an 87 Buick station wagon. Got it. 74 Volkswagen Beetle. A 285 horsepower V8 6-speed 1996 Chevy Camaro Z28.
Yeah, but what color?
Can France and Italy, Austria and England, Germany, Spain, and the Netherlands ever really agree on a single currency? Actually, they already have. Gold MasterCard. It's accepted at more cash machines around the world.
Excuse me, guys.
Than any other card. Look for your Gold MasterCard invitation in the mail and apply today.
This is CBS.
Of all the airlines taking off each morning from over 1,000 cities around the world, only one has been rated Best in America by the prestigious Zagat Airline Survey. Best in every detail. For exclusively 2-across seating, fine cuisine, exceptional service, all at competitive coach or discounted fares. Now you can experience the best care in the air. Midwest Express Airlines.
Some people are born with a country in their very souls, with a basic appreciation for honesty, integrity, and a fair deal. That's what Country General is all about. Dedicated to farmers, ranchers, and anyone else who loves country living. Example, Country General is an official Wrangler PRCA Pro Rodeo dealer with a wide selection of Wrangler jeans and Wrangler shirts at a darn fair price. For genuine customer service, quality, and value, look to the Country, your Country General store.
Go Huskers, #1.
CBS Sports presentation of the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl is sponsored by Tostitos, Chevrolet, McDonald's, and by AT&T.
We open the second quarter. Jim Nance with Terry Donahue, Michael Barkan, Michelle Tafoya. Florida leading 10-6. 2nd and 2 for the Cornhuskers at midfield. John Bedrell has come in as a third receiver. On the key. Frazier tucking that ball away. Being careful at the last minute. They had Ben Hanks reaching in trying to strip it. But first down for Nebraska. And let's check in with Michelle Tafoya. Michelle?
All right, Jim. Well, standing on the bench behind me is a redshirt freshman defensive back named Doc Pollard, and he's not playing tonight, but he's had a very significant role all week in practice. He has played the role of Tommy Frazier in practice so that this team could practice for Tommy Frazier, and in fact, he went to Bradenton, Manatee, where Tommy Frazier played his career, looked up to Tommy. Tommy said, hey, he can't impersonate me totally. Jim?
Lawrence Phillips breaking one inside the 10, a touchdown, Nebraska. Yards, Lawrence Phillips.
This is Nebraska football. Behind the best line in the United States, Lawrence Phillips gets the ball deep, cuts back, and runs through the Florida Gators for the touchdown. The key to Florida's defense tonight is going to be tackling, Jim. They've got to tackle better than they did on that run to stay in this game with Nebraska.
Chris Brown for the extra point. 13-10 Nebraska. I think you said it correctly. Ran through the Gator defense on that one. The second touchdown of the night to put Nebraska back in front.
There are a lot of women out there that become pregnant each year. While I was pregnant, I could feel that the lap and shoulder belt were properly positioned, but I didn't know if that would protect the baby in a car crash. GM is working on the development of the pregnant dummy. This dummy's going to be a mom. I think we need a better understanding, and the best way is to develop a prototype and test it. I think that pregnancy is a very happy time in people's lives. It's my goal as a mother to protect them.
Now say the words to the McDonald's Big Mac song and get one for 99 cents.
Hey, I know you. You're the guy I can't say. 2 all beef patties, special sauce, oysters, pickles, onions, and sesame seed bun.
Who is this kid?
Hey, Charles, can you sing the Egg McMuffin song? 2 English muffin halves, fresh egg and cheese, Canadian style bacon, la 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 la.
Now start your day with McDonald's Hot Egg McMuffin for just 99 cents.
Sure can,
In business today, you never know what's going to creep up on you. The smallest things can disrupt your cellular calls, your business calls, your faxes. But now, AT&T, with the most reliable long-distance network, can protect your business against all of that.
Good evening, Mr. Katz.
Guaranteed network reliability, only from AT&T, for the life of your business.
Enterprise? Hi, I'm at the repair shop. I need to rent a car.
Enterprise will arrange to pick you up,
This is great.
drive you to our place, and get you on your way. Pick Enterprise. We'll pick you up.
Let's get real. Brakes stop your wheels, but tires stop your car. Goodyear AquaTread 2 has a deeper, wider aqua channel than the original AquaTread to sweep water away for outstanding wet traction. AquaTread, only from Goodyear.
In my town, people trust me to guarantee them life, liberty, and happiness, even if it kills them.
Gary Cole returns on American Gothic Wednesday.
Here's the run back, and it looked like a reverse setup for a moment, but Anthony holds on wisely because Nebraska was down there on that play. Riedel Anthony to the 22-yard line. Phillips broke 3 tackles on that touchdown run of 42 yards.
Jim, what happens on this play, Mark Campbell, the Florida defensive end, gets too far up the field. The ball is given deep in the backfield to Lawrence Phillips, and he has a running lane back to the backside against the defense. There's a missed tackle here. Lawrence Phillips breaks that one. He keeps going right here. There's another missed tackle. And then finally the third missed tackle right there, and he breaks a long run. What a play.
4 receivers in for Florida. Let's see how the Gators respond. Werfel gets away, but there's a flag thrown. And Werfel all the way out to the 42, but it looks like a holding call coming up.
That flag is in the general area that they usually call offensive holding on the line.
Holding on the offense.
Take away the 21-yard run by Danny Werfel.
Jim, I'm not sure that we can see exactly who's holding. Right here, the left guard, I think it was number 78, Reggie Kgin, got him hooked. His arms got outside the framework of his body.
He had a hold that looked like of Jeff Ogard, who has come in. They're shuttling in a lot of fresh faces on that defensive line for Nebraska. I know that's part of what you expected.
Nebraska's going to do that all night long so they can keep bringing fresh players on the pass rush.
1st and 24, and the Gators backed up at the 8-yard line.
Dead ball. Ball start on the offense.
That's Florida's 5th penalty tonight already, and 4 on the offensive unit.
I think on the total offense, it's exactly what we expected. We expected Nebraska to be able to run the ball and do a great job, and we expected Florida to come out throwing, and that's what they've done.
1st and 28. Terry Jackson lined up. Now he's coming out of the end zone in motion. This is that 5-receiver set. Werfel, look out! They're in on him. Should be a safety. Football might have been knocked loose also. They're going to rule him down just inches outside of the end zone. And Terrell Farley is furious.
We talked at the top of the game that the pressure that Nebraska could get on Werfel was going to be the key to this game, and we've got Farley coming on the right side with a blitz. He's one of the best blitzers on Nebraska's defensive team.
Did that look like a safety to you?
It looked like a safety to me, Jim.
Plus the ball was coming loose on the back end of it.
He may have fumbled it out to the 1-foot line.
Nonetheless, 2nd and 31. You can't get any closer. There they got him. There's the safety. Jamel Williams.
Here we see Jamel Williams, number 28, coming from the left side of the screen. Chuck McBride, the defensive coordinator from Nebraska, told me he's one of the best blitzers on the team. He runs like a defensive back.
No one ever touched him here at all. I mean, he just came clean.
Nebraska wanted to change up on Werfel. 4-man rush, 5-man rush, 6-man rush. They got him that time with a 6-man rush.
Huskers 15-7 10. That is Florida's style, but that play calling down there, Nebraska was ready for it, and they got an added
2. Can't seem to find my tickets. I must have left them in my other fanny pack. Fellas?
All in favor of kicking Chris out of the fan club, say aye.
Aye. Okay, fine. I'll just take my baked Tostitos with me.
Baked? How good can they be?
What do you think?
Tailgate party!
Hey, I'm on the tickets. Really?
No, not really. So I go pick up a pizza. Say I'll be right back. Took my new Pontiac Grand Am. Turned a little errand into an opportunity. Maybe take a little side trip. Pizza's still warm. This new twin-cam engine loves being let loose. The way it turns, hang on little mushrooms. It's nice to put your right foot down and mean it. Uh-oh, she sent someone out to look for me. That's the problem with a hot car like the Grand Am. You end up bringing home cold pizza.
We are driving excitement, Pontiac.
This is a gold card. It can't grant you inner peace. I don't know. No card on the planet's more accepted, so you could go someplace peaceful. And with a credit line of at least $5,000, you'll have the freedom to relax. And freedom like that might be the path of true wisdom. So I guess Gold MasterCard can help you to see the light. Just remember to wear sunscreen. Gold MasterCard. It's more than a gold card. It's smart money. Look for your Gold MasterCard application and apply today.
They were sitting there beyond history. A wife and a daughter.
Derek Redmond wasn't going to make it. And out of the stands came his father.
The highest award a photojournalist can win is the Pulitzer Prize, and more had won it on Kodak film than any other brand.
After 20 years of dictatorship, freedom.
Kodak. What film is in your camera? A familiar face is back as hope returns.
Miss me?
The Golden Globe-nominated drama.
I'm moving for custody. You're not taking my daughter.
A whole new year of Chicago Hope, Monday.
That's Jamel Williams, who sacked Werfel for the safety. Tony George, one of the headhunters on that Gator kick coverage. The free kick coming from the 20. Matt Teague. Quentin Childs to the 30. Makes the move to the 40. And that's a huge tackle by Fred Weary. Otherwise, who knows? Childs was ready to break it. How did they let Jamel Williams just come right through there, untouched?
The key to the Florida offense is protection. They can protect with 5 offensive linemen when they spread you out. Nebraska came with 6 defenders. Therefore, they outnumbered the offense. Chuck McBride brought the heat on the 1-yard line, played man-to-man and blitzed. Very unusual, Jim, that a defensive coach will bring that kind of pressure in that kind of field position. It was a great defensive call by the Nebraska defensive staff.
Well, it was the second straight play, too. You'll recall Farley, the play before, had rushed in there almost untouched. He thought he had a safety.
He almost did have a safety.
This is Tony George, cousin, in fact, of the Heisman Trophy winner Eddie George of Ohio State.
Number 1, Tony George.
And feeling the effects of that jarring hit, but able to walk off the field under his own power. Here comes Nebraska now from its own 49. Amon Green has come into the backfield, the true freshman who set the all-time freshman rushing record for the Cornhuskers this year with 1,086 yards. Frazier advances the football across the 50, hit by James Bates and Keith Council. Let's talk a little bit about Amon Green. Look at Frazier now, kind of shaking off some finger movement there on the right side. Got a little stinger.
Jim, Nebraska is one of the most amazing teams. They don't drop off a great deal when they bring Amon Green into the game. He's rushed for over 1,000 yards this year. He's as good a back. Tom Osborne said he might become the best back they've ever had in Nebraska.
Yeah, here he is. No running room on his first carry. Keith Council and Ben Hanks welcome him to the game. Kgin averaged almost 8 yards a carry this season and rushed for 13 touchdowns.
And he didn't get to play, Jim, until everyone else had gotten hurt or suspended. He was the fourth-string tailback as a true freshman this year at Nebraska before he gets onto the field.
3rd and 7. And the Cornhuskers go with a different look, spreading it out themselves to a 5-receiver set.
They're running Florida's offense.
Now, they practiced enough against it. Quarterback draw, and Frazier. They let him break a tackle, and he gets to the outside. Frazier with blockers in front. It looked like the Gators might stop him short of the first down, and instead, Tommy Frazier takes it all the way inside of the 20. Broken tackles again.
One of the keys we pointed out at the start of the game was that Florida had to tackle well tonight. You not only have to tackle Tommy Frazier well, you've also got to tackle those tailback well. In this particular case, you see a missed tackle right there. Frazier, the great athlete that he is, gets the ball north and south down the field. A missed tackle there.
Well, the hurtful one was the first one. Mark Campbell.
Finally, he goes down on his own.
That's Frazier's longest run of the season. 31-yard run. Green stretches to the 12. Johnny Church with the first hit. Tommy Frazier. He was the starting quarterback as a true freshman. 32-3 in his career as a starter. He was the runner-up in the Heisman voting this year. You know when he started playing as an option quarterback? When he was 7 years old.
You ought to be able to run the option good, huh?
I think he does. Green and Schuster now. Brian Schuster in at fullback on 2nd and 6. And a timeout called by Nebraska. Second one they have used in this half. Cornhuskers leading 15-10, driving again.
Anybody know McDonald's Big Mac song?
2 all-beef patty, special sauce, lettuce.
Cheese.
Pickles, onions, and a sesame seed bun. Oh, my! 2 all-beef patty, special sauce.
Onion and a sesame seed bun.
2 all-beef patty, special sauce.
2 all-beef cheesies. Cheesy peepees.
2 all-beef patty, special sauce, lettuce.
Cheese, pickles, onions, on a sesame seed bun. I can do anything. Why can't I do this?
Have you had your Mac today?
In shopping for a luxury performance sedan, Jay Kerness tested the Oldsmobile LSS against the fastest, most nimble machine on Earth, Juma, the Cheetah. The LSS's sports suspension and traction control attacked the course, as did the Cheetah. But while he considered the LSS's precise handling quite impressive, there was one thing he failed to consider. Cheetahs are very sore losers. Will the LSS pass your test?
Nice kitty. Go away.
AT&T introduces a tool that will change the way your business runs. It helps you cut through the latest news, sort financial data, and access internet sites. It organizes the information you need and puts it all right at your fingertips. The AT&T Business Network, the new online service for business. AT&T, for the life of your business.
Are you planning on serving heartburn for the holidays?
But, Dad, you love peppers.
I love sausage too, but my stomach.
Ah, wait till you see the appetizer.
Pepsid AC acid controller?
Take 1 little Pepsid AC before dinner, and you can stop heartburn before it even starts.
Stop heartburn before it starts?
You see, Dad, Pepsid AC controls acid for 9 hours through the night, so you can sleep.
Oh. Say, you think we have enough peppers?
For the holidays, you can be heartburn-free with Pepsid AC.
Nebraska rushes for 400 yards a game, and they're already kind of on pace for that. Lawrence Phillips with 2 touchdowns in this game already. 15-10. Phillips is out, though, on this series. Amon Green has replaced him. 2nd down and 6. happy with Cornhuskers. They got their attention for the timeout. And here on the pitch, Kgin to the corner. Near a first down. The normally phlegmatic leader of the Cornhuskers showing a lot of emotion to get the attention of his offensive unit for a timeout a moment ago.
A lot of people misread Tom Osborne, Jim. He's a very emotional, fiery coach. He attacks the same way that Steve Spurrier attacks.
First and goal. Kgin got the first down, first and goal at the 5. Then Carpenter has come in as a second tight end, joining Mark Gilman. Fullback time. And Schuster almost got there. In fact, it would have been some story for Brian Schuster, a junior. He has never scored a touchdown in his Nebraska career. And he could have had one here tonight in the national championship game. Maybe he'll get another call.
Jim, this is a little trap play up the middle by Nebraska. They've run it for years. I've seen it 6 years that I competed against Tom Osborne's team. The fullback doesn't carry the ball very often, but when he does, he will slice the inside of your defense apart.
Did you enjoy going against the Cornhuskers, did you?
That's why I'm up here with you.
1-5 all time.
Oh, don't make me feel
sorry.
bad.
Well,
it's a new year.
Second and goal now. Here's Ahman Green. He is in for the touchdown.
The Nebraska I-backs just keep pounding away at you. First, Lawrence Phillips, now Ahman Green, the true freshman.
Brown makes it now 16 unanswered for the Cornhuskers. They have just exploded here suddenly to take a 22-10 lead with 9:13 remaining in the first half.
This is a gold card. It can't grant you inner peace. I don't know. No card on the planet's more accepted, so you could go someplace peaceful. And with a credit line of at least $5,000, you'll have the freedom to relax. And freedom like that might be the path of true wisdom. So I guess Gold MasterCard can help you to see the light. Just remember to wear sunscreen. Gold MasterCard. It's more than a gold card. It's smart money. Look for your Gold MasterCard application and apply today.
In searching for a luxury performance sedan, Michael Young tested the Oldsmobile LSS against 3 of the fastest Japan has to offer: the Infiniti J30, Lexus ES300, and teppanyaki chef Yasu Norimoto. And while his 240 horsepower LSS was no match for Yasu's speed, not only did Mr. Young fare much better against the imports, he had them for lunch. Will the LSS pass your test?
They always do that? Nah, they usually go for 2.
Jim Nance and Terry Donahue from the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. Nebraska has scored 16 points in the last 5 minutes, 15 seconds to take a 22-10 lead.
Jim, I think the key down there is the safety that Nebraska got against the Florida offense. Spurrier spread the field out with his normal offensive approach, 5 wide outs. He got blitz, and all of a sudden, since that safety, the bottom has fallen out here.
We have seen a huge momentum change, and what a hit on Jaquez Kgin by Joel Makovica. And Kgin is slow to get up.
This kind of a defensive play can really spark a football team, and certainly in this particular case for Nebraska, it has. It can also demoralize an offensive football team. When you get your quarterback hit like that for a safety, he's going to have to recover.
So the safety and then the drive that followed after the free kick. And how about the bodies that are being lost here on the kick teams? We've already seen 3 Florida players go down tonight. Kgin Walton, Tony George, and now this guy could be an important part of the Gator attack tonight, Jaquez Kgin.
Well, because he's such a powerful receiver as well as a kick returner. One of the things that...
Ooh, you saw his leg get caught there?
Yes, one of the things that Tom Osborne felt coming into the game that I mentioned earlier was that they have an advantage at Nebraska in the kicking game. Not only do they have an advantage in kicking the ball, but they have an advantage physically. Now with some of these Florida players getting knocked out of the game.
They have already, well, for a moment a stretcher was halfway out there, and they sent it back to the sideline. Jaquez Kgin, a freshman who blocked 3 kicks this year, an average 29 yards a catch on the season, and his foot just got caught here, turned back.
Right here, Jim, I believe.
The official carbonated beverage on the Fiesta Bowl.
Boy, let's hope and pray he's okay.
Tommy Frazier, since he threw that interception, the interception to Tico Brown, that Florida then scored a touchdown shortly thereafter. Nebraska has, since the INT, run 12 straight rushing plays and scored 2 touchdowns since the interception.
Maybe Tom Osborne gets mad when you throw an interception. He doesn't let you throw for a while.
I think Tommy Frazier, too. Well, Florida first on the board with the field goal by Edmiston. Nebraska's first drive. Little swing pass over to Phillips. 16 yards, diving across. Extra point missed. Werfel, after the Tico Brown interception, scored from a yard out. Then Phillips on a 42-yard run where he broke 3 tackles. Danny Werfel was sacked by Jamel Williams for a safety. Right back came the Husker offense with a drive with Amon Green replacing Phillips in the lineup. Expected to see some alternating at tailback position, and Green on his first series helped lead him down the field, and he scored the touchdown from a yard away. So I'm sorry to say they are going to have to put him on the stretcher. Jaquez Kgin, the fastest player on this team. He was really regarded going in by Steve Spurrier as one of the weapons tonight that, he hoped to be able to get him out in the open.
His loss is going to be felt on the offensive team as well as on the kick teams.
Well, we've talked about Nebraska having won 24 straight. Last year, the Huskers had a perfect season also. The national championship won in the Orange Bowl against Miami. A little quarterback controversy going in. Brooke Behringer, Tommy Frazier. Tommy Frazier, though, re-entered the game in the fourth quarter, sparked the comeback. Nebraska had trailed 17-9 entering the fourth quarter. But Corey Schlesinger goes up the middle for the 14-yard touchdown. His second score of the fourth quarter proved to be the difference. Nebraska won it 24-17 and captured Tom Osborne's first national championship. He was an assistant under Devaney when they won the 2 straight back in the early 70s. So Jaquez Kgin, the situation looking quite severe, and we'll check in with that in just a moment.
In business today, you never know what's going to creep up on you. The smallest things can disrupt your cellular calls, your business calls, your faxes. But now, AT&T, with the most reliable long-distance network, can protect your business against all of that.
Good evening, Mr. Katz.
Guaranteed network reliability, only from AT&T, for the life of your business.
So include the Kellogg's Special K breakfast and make up for the way you ate this holiday season. Kellogg's Special K. Lose the holiday fat.
Back at the Fiesta Bowl, where the preliminary report on Jaquez Kgin is a dislocated hip. Again, this is a preliminary report. I've been told that a dislocated hip is very rare. We'll get the confirmation on that in just a few moments. Right now, let's send it back upstairs to Jim Nance.
Danny Werfel trying to stay loose, and I'm sure this is an emotional thing for this team, too, to watch their teammate, their fallen teammate here on this play.
Really difficult on a team, Jim. They need to make sure once the injured player is removed that they get their heads and their emotions back into this football game. It's difficult to do for the coaches and players alike, but they all need to do this. But you can see the concern on the players' faces for their fallen teammate.
So this game that has seen the offensive fireworks many had expected has taken a quiet, solemn break for a moment. Nebraska and Florida both undefeated. Nebraska with the longest winning streak in the nation, 24 in a row. Florida with the second longest win streak, having won all 12 games this year. Michael Barkan is on the Nebraska sideline with an additional story. Michael, go ahead.
All right, Jimmy, here with Matt Waters, also known as Montel Williams. You've got a program coming up tomorrow night, 9 o'clock on CBS. You're an ex-football coach or a football coach.
Well, I'm Matt Waters. I play high school teacher. I'm a guy who's a Navy SEAL who ends up retiring from the military and going back to teaching high school because his brother's killed in a drive-by shooting. And while I'm there, I get recruited as the assistant football coach. So I'm here tonight looking for some players.
You do a little recruiting. How would you help Florida? You used to play a little football yourself.
Well, I'll tell you something. I don't know. It's going to be a tough night for Florida. Like it may be for Matt Waters, but I think as long as people tune in and watch, it won't be that bad. For these guys, they need to learn how to do a little defense. I think it's a little tough.
How are you juggling the talk show duties along with the acting?
It's been really a heavy load. I'm doing a talk show, 3 shows a day, Thursdays and Fridays, and then I do Matt Waters Saturday through Wednesday. It's been an unbelievable opportunity to join the CBS family, especially in prime time, to do a show like this, because this is going to be one of the only shows like this on air. I guarantee you, tune in tomorrow night at 9 o'clock, you'll see a show that'll take you on an emotional roller coaster, won't solve all the problems, but at the same time, we'll accent some things that are really good in society and with kids in high schools.
All right, thanks, Montel. Jimmy?
Okay, Jaquez Kgin has been hoisted onto the cart. You know, I was thinking back to when we attended the Florida practice a couple of days ago, and I saw this young man, this freshman from Fort Valley, Georgia, just kind of bouncing around, always had a smile on his face, and the speed, I mean, you could just plainly see anytime he touched the football in practice that he had something special. And I made a remark to you. I said he really reminds me of the Rocket, when the Rocket was at Notre Dame, and then I found out a short time later Rocket was always his hero, his football hero.
He had a great bounce in his step, and we all hate to see these young people get hurt in this game. They've worked so hard to get to this championship game, and we wish him nothing but the best.
Yellow line, it's where you're supposed to be, and we'll pull your back.
Jim, this is a critical time for Florida now to regroup. They've given up 16 unanswered points. They've had a teammate go down with an injury. Now they've got to get back into the rhythm of the game and start moving the ball like they did in the first quarter.
9 minutes to go in the second quarter. 22-10 Nebraska. In the zone 13, its worst starting position. And Elijah Williams brought down by Jamel Williams, the safety maker from earlier in this quarter. Michelle Tafoya has sent word back to us that the Florida people have confirmed now a dislocated hip for Jaquez Kgin. Second down and 10. Elijah Williams, the lone running back. Gators have had nothing special so far tonight on the ground. Better hurry here on the down clock. Hilliard out to the 23, very close to the first down. This has been a quarter where Werfel really seemed to click this year. The Gators scoring 180 points on the season. So they have third in short yardage, 3rd and 1. Well, at first, they were going to let him go ahead and run the play. On a second thought, they're going to bring out the chain gang.
Steve Spurrier asked his offensive line coach prior to the game which of the running plays he liked, and the offensive line coach remarked, "I don't like any of them."
Boy, this will be a big play coming up. Terry, 3rd and about a foot.
Huge. Jim, there isn't much room to go here for the first down. I wouldn't be surprised to see Danny Werfel sneak this ball.
He's brought in an extra tight end, Sean Nunn. Dwayne Mobley, Elijah Williams lined up behind Werfel in the eye. Still 12 seconds on the play clock, plenty of time. Werfel steadies his crew, gives it to Elijah Williams, and this is going to be close. Grant Wistrom with a final hit to back him up a bit. They're not even going to measure. It's 4th and less than a yard.
Nebraska is great against the run. They came into the game saying they are not going to allow Florida to run the ball. 3rd down and 1 foot, and they stop them.
He won't gamble down at the 22, that's for certain. 12 rushing plays so far tonight for the Gators for a total of 4 yards.
Nebraska is getting done exactly what they wanted to get done prior to the game.
Robbie Stevenson. And this play whistled dead.
Dead ball, delay of game on the offense. 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
And the freshman booter will now stand at the 2-yard line. Robert Louis Stevenson. The freshman from Tommy Frazier's high school, Manatee High School, there in the Bradenton area of Florida. Has been a Jekyll and Hyde performance so far for the Gators. Short kick fielded by Octavius McFarland, and Nebraska set up an excellent position again. Only a 31-yard punt with a 9-yard return. Here's a look at Nebraska's possessions, the 4 times they've had it. 3 touchdowns and the interception. And those, again, are not long series for them, scoring series. 6 plays, 5 plays, 7 plays on the touchdown drive. Lawrence Phillips has returned, and he's down to the 40-yard line. Dexter Daniels on the tackle
Jim, this is a critical series for Florida's defense. They need to get regrouped. They're a fast group of athletes. They can run to the football. They need to get off blocks, get to that ball, and wrap those ball carriers up.
Put in perspective what kind of start to the night Lawrence Phillips has had. He returned for the last 3 games of the regular season and played in all 3 of those games. Never rushed for more than 73 yards in any one of them, but he already has 88 yards tonight and amassed all of that in the first quarter alone. Just a few minutes maybe into the second quarter to put that total up top, but Tommy Frazier decked for no gain on the play. So Phillips playing about a quarter, and he's almost got 100 yards.
That was an excellent job by the Florida defense running to the sidelines to cover Tommy Frazier. They had 7 players over there attacking that ball carrier.
With Nebraska in Florida territory, having scored 16 unanswered, all of those unanswered points I speak of here in this quarter, coming back from a 10-6 deficit after 1, facing a 3rd and 8. Frazier zips it, caught by Clester Johnson. But the short tackle by Demetric Jackson may have stopped him shy of the first by a yard. Jackson, the 3rd different free safety Florida has used tonight. Mike Harris and Tico Brown have also seen play.
Florida came with a linebacker blitz. It was picked up nicely by the Nebraska offensive line, and it gives Tommy Frazier time to complete that pass.
All right, Nebraska's going for it on 4th and a long yard. Option left, Frazier dives for it. Florida over there trying to point out the spot. Ed Chester was giving chase.
Jim, that was an unbelievable play by the most dangerous player in college football.
First down, Nebraska. He saw it was all shut down.
Frazier comes out on the counter option play. He gets stopped by the Florida defense, reverses his field, and just individually turns on the burners and dives for the first down. What a play.
Looks like Mark Campbell's having a hard time getting a hold of him tonight. He had a chance to make a play there. So the 4th down play, that's the first down for Nebraska. Play action. Looking downfield and caught out of bounds by Brendan Holbein. There is a flag on the play.
Holding on the defense. 10-yard penalty.
It's all going against the Gators right now.
Right now, Jim, the toughest thing for the Florida coaches and players is to handle this momentum that's all going against them. Everything is turned a little bit south on them right now. They need to just hang in there. They're an excellent team. They've got an underrated defense, a great offense. They just got to get back into the rhythm of this game and play even with Nebraska.
Defensive holding gives Nebraska first down at the 20. Inside they go. Florida finally sees the open man, Jeff Makovica. All 3 fullbacks at Nebraska are walk-ons. That looked like something we saw last year in the Orange Bowl from Corey Schlesinger when he scored 2 touchdowns in the 4th quarter.
Jim, what happens? The Florida defense is moving to the outside to try and stop Tommy Frazier and the tailback. When they do, they open up a running lane inside for the fullback, and in that case, that's exactly where he took the ball, inside up the middle.
First and goal. Frazier, good fake, end zone. Man was open, Gilman. So the fullback mentioned one of many walk-ons for Nebraska. And you look at the starters tonight. Reggie Ball's been the starter most of the year. Did not start tonight, but really 4 of their players walk-ons.
Nebraska has the biggest walk-on population in the country. It gives them an unbelievable advantage over anybody they play because they always have more than enough players to try and practice against.
Those Nebraska kids love that program so much. Those homegrown kids, most of them don't walk on to Lincoln. They crawl there. Frazier, that just down all the way, and the late pitch results in very little at all. Dexter Daniels, just a final pop there on Phillips. So that time, the Gators read the option quite well.
And you notice, Jim, how quickly they flowed to the outside to play the outside. The previous play, when the fullback hurt him up inside, that's the reason. That defense is flowing so fast to the outside because of the pressure that Frazier and either Amon Green or Lawrence Phillips puts on your defense.
Third and goal from the 8. They've loaded up the backfield. And Vedral comes out of there. And now Frazier rolled out, looking, and through the end zone. So Florida had to have a big defensive series in that goal-to-go situation, and they may have come up with it. They're going to have to bring out the field goal unit.
Critical hold there by the Florida defense. I'm just not sure they could have afforded to give up another touchdown. This would have been very difficult. Here you give up 3 points, you go in at halftime, you regroup, you get your football team back into the flow of the game of the second half, you're still alive. 7 points at this time, it's difficult to come back from.
Freshman kicker Chris Brown from South Lake, Texas. He made 13 of 16 field goals this year. Looking for a 15-point lead, 26-yard boot, split it. So, Nebraska with 3:46 to go in the second quarter. Now has taken a 25-10 lead.
This is a gold card. It can't grant you inner peace. I don't know. No card on the planet's more accepted, so you could go someplace peaceful. And with a credit line of at least $5,000, you'll have the freedom to relax. And freedom like that might be the path of true wisdom. So I guess Gold MasterCard can help you to see the light. Just remember to wear sunscreen. Gold MasterCard. It's more than a gold card. It's smart money. Look for your Gold MasterCard application and apply today.
In searching for a luxury performance sedan, Michael Young tested the Oldsmobile LSS against 3 of the fastest Japan has to offer: the Infiniti J30, Lexus ES300, and teppanyaki chef Yasu Norimoto. And while his 240 horsepower LSS was no match for Yasu's speed, not only did Mr. Young fare much better against the imports, he had them for lunch. Will the LSS pass your test?
Cornhuskers with a huge second quarter. Scored 19 in this quarter to lead 25-10. Brown's kick taken by Riedel Anthony at the 5. He ran one back this year against Auburn, but there's no daylight on that one. Tackled at the 23. And Michael Barkan down there on the Nebraska side. Michael?
Jim, in Lincoln, the Cornhuskers defense is known as the Black Shirts, and that's a tradition started by Bob Devaney, Hall of Fame head coach, and Tom Osborne's predecessor. And you see the scout team wears the white jerseys in practice. Second string wears the yellow jerseys in practice, and if you're a starter, this is an honor in itself, you wear the black shirt. And a nice touch before the final home game, the seniors get him too. Jim?
That's what they talk about with so much pride, getting that black shirt on that Nebraska D. Get a starting assignment, and you've got one. So with 4 receivers in the game, Werfel still trying the spread formation. Florida lives by this fun and gun. And out to the 30-yard line. They had some nice movement there in the first quarter. Ike Hilliard on the catch. And that defense, second in the nation against the rush, 4th in points allowed, fewest points allowed. Travis McGriff, number 3, a freshman receiver, lined up at the bottom of your screen on 2nd and 3.
Team Florida just needs to get an offensive drive started here and get back into their rhythm.
Werfel cuts back to find Hilliard again, near the 50.
The Tostitos Fiesta Bowl extends its thanks and appreciation to Scottsdale Community College President Dr. Art Buckenbooter and Director of Athletics Art Buckenbooter.
So, that pass now actually ruled incomplete. Incomplete. Hilliard didn't have it. Third down and 3. Nebraska warning the blitz. There are flags down. Look like Nebraska may have jumped. And Hilliard was out there. Werfel's man overthrown a bit. If Nebraska jump, it'll give Florida the first down.
Offsides, defense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
So a first down by virtue of the penalty. It's only the second penalty of the night against Nebraska. 2:51 remaining in the second quarter. So successful going to Doring on the game's opening series. He got 4 balls on that drive. See if Werfel goes back to him. That pass picked off by Michael Booker. Free room ahead. Michael Booker in for the touchdown. He tied for the team lead in interceptions this year, but some thought maybe they could beat Booker tonight. Michael Booker racing at 42 yards for the touchdown.
The reason that this ball was thrown for an interception was the pressure that Nebraska applied to Werfel. They broke his timing. Right as he was throwing the ball, he was bumped and the ball had no steam on it.
32-10. Michael Booker with a touchdown in the national championship game.
Jim, Florida has 3 wideouts to the top of the screen. Werfel goes back to throw the pass.
You're right, Coach. It looked like the ball had nothing on it because of the pressure.
Right now he gets hit right as he's throwing, and consequently Booker is able to break on that ball, step in front, and make that interception. You know, we talked continuously throughout the game that Nebraska felt like they needed to break his rhythm, needed to break Danny Werfel's rhythm, not necessarily sack him, but keep him off his timing. That was a perfect example. They didn't get a sack, but they forced him into a bad throw because he couldn't put his weight into that pass.
Looked like the leg, too, of Reggie Green, his left guard, got a little tangled with the quarterback as he was trying to fling it.
He's over there explaining to Steve Spurrier that I couldn't get my body into that throw. I couldn't come through with my arm because I got hit.
Boy, is Nebraska coming through here in this quarter. And the fake again on the reverse. Riedel Anthony going out of bounds shy of the 30-yard line.
We'll take one more look at it here. You can see the pass protection that collapses. There's penetration to the left side, and it bumps back into Werfel. Therefore, he just can't be successful in his follow-through.
Booker was out there battling with Ike Hilliard. And we have only 2:33 left in the half. Nebraska with 26 points in this quarter. And here they come in uncontested again on the quarterback. There is a flag down, though. Mike Rucker.
Jim, I think it's important to note, none of us should forget that earlier this year, Florida came back against Tennessee being down 30-14. They came back and scored over 60 points in that game. So this game is far from over if Florida just stays in there, keeps their poise, and continues to run their offense. They've got to find a way, though, to get Danny Werfel protected.
In that game against Tennessee, a team that will likely finish third, maybe even second, depending on tonight's outcome in the national polls. Florida ended up coming back from that 16-point deficit and scored 48 unanswered points.
Don't count them out.
So Mike Rucker, a freshman, makes the sack. Here they come on Werfel. He gets it away in time. Goring bumped out of bounds by Mike Minter.
I thought that last play was very interesting, Jim. That's the first time that Werfel really has moved the pocket. He was flushed a couple times, but this was a design play by Steve Spurrier to move his quarterback, get him away from some of that heat, get him on the outside so he can hit that pass.
Well, Nebraska with this electrifying second quarter has set a Fiesta Bowl record, as you might expect. Nebraska has never had any success in this game, 0-4 in the Fiesta all time, but they're in on him again. Eric Warfield blitzing. Sophomore from Texarkana, Arkansas. They are not giving Werfel any time to operate. That's the 5th sack. One of them was a safety.
We said that Florida will spread the field, and they had to protect. If they were going to spread their wide receivers out, they had to be able to handle the blitz. So far tonight, the key to this game, the key to stopping the Florida offense in the second quarter has been the ability of Nebraska to blitz Florida.
3 return men back. And it's McFarland again. And hey, Nebraska's got a chance to score again with 1:18 remaining before the half. 43-yard punt coming up at the half. Pat O'Brien and Boomer Esiason will give their spin here on the first half action. Plus, David Letterman will join them live from the Ed Sullivan Theater in New York. There's a flag down on that punt return. Talk about how strong this Nebraska team is.
On the return, illegal block below the waist on the return team. 15-yard penalty, 1st and 10.
On that series for the Gator offense, Werfel was sacked twice by players who are usually on the third-team depth chart. Eric Warfield and Mike Rucker, a freshman and sophomore who have seen limited action this year, but they each got a sack on the last series.
2 things that Nebraska felt coming into this game were important. 1, to rotate the defensive line so they constantly had fresh players, and 2, to play fast players at the outside linebacker position so they could blitz with more speed.
From the shotgun, remember Nebraska has 1 timeout to work with. Catch made by John Vedral. Florida's offensive line
trying to get those protection problems worked out during a game like this. You just got to work like crazy. Try to get those players to get settled down, get targeted properly so you can protect your quarterback. You've got to protect him.
That offensive line coach for Florida, by the way, Jimmy Ray Stevens, was Werfel's high school coach. Short side and out of bounds to stop the clock. 1:08 remaining. Well, Nebraska in 1 versus 2 games. You remember this one. People called it the game of the century. And then you had the Orange Bowl, highlighted by that Johnny Rodgers punt return. 1987 regular season, the Sooners prevailed by 10. And then 2 years ago in the Orange Bowl, Florida State winning 18-16. Cornhuskers had a field goal try from 45 yards with 1 second to go. That was wide left. 3rd and 1. Easily getting the yardage. Phillips down at the 45 of Florida. Lawrence Phillips goes over 100 with that carry.
Lawrence Phillips is having a great game tonight, but I think you've got to give credit to the offensive line. This is the strongest, deepest offensive line in the country. Jim, I watched them practice. They have 3 and 4 deep. They all look the same. They're all about 285 to 310.
So, under a minute to go. Wide open. Is Holbein making a move to get down near the 10-yard line.
How about those people that say Tommy Frazier can't throw?
Hey, you've got him as a quarterback on your side in the East-West Shrine game coming up in a couple of weeks. You got to like what you see.
I can't wait.
So with no tight end in this alignment, clock running, 13 seconds. High snap, and let's see, the senior scoops it up and gets out of bounds to stop the clock with 27 seconds. That 100-yard rushing effort by Phillips is the first one by a Nebraska player in a bowl game since 1985, and Doug Dubose.
And Jim, we're in the first half.
Unbelievable. What will go on in the Florida locker room at halftime, trying to recover from this blitzkrieg of a second quarter?
I think that Steve Spurrier will get his team in there and just get them settled down just like he did against Tennessee.
Short snap it they do to Phillips, and he's down at the 5. For a moment there, I thought he might get past that wave. And there they use their final timeout. Demetric Jackson made the tackle. So we'll take a timeout with them. Nebraska on some roll right now.
In football, when you go into center as a quarterback, when they were blitzing, you could read that. You could tell where those linebackers were coming from or where that free safety was coming from. In politics, you never know where the linebacker's coming from. You never know where the blitz is going to come from. I think that's the major difference. But outside of that, I still think the principles and application of endurance and character and delayed gratification, hard work, making sure you understand the game plan offensively and defensively, that you are well prepared to go on the floor of the house to tell your side of the story or tell why you feel a certain way. Those similarities are the same in football or business or politics. The principles, the values, the conviction, the hard work. I think that's the foundation that you have, that you must have for whatever you do.
So Nebraska with no timeouts, but 17 seconds to go. Football at the 7-yard line. Third and 4 play. Frazier rolling out, ball deflected up in the air. And harmlessly falling incomplete. So Nebraska looks to add another 3. Lawrence Phillips shaking his head, and this team now accustomed to just taking it across the goal line.
Not having a timeout right there hurt Nebraska. They were unable to run the ball like they traditionally would because they couldn't stop the clock. So they had to go ahead and throw it because they were going to run out of time.
So Chris Brown on the kick. And good from 24 yards. The last team to repeat as national champion, Alabama, 1978-79.
For its sponsorship of Fiesta Bowl ticket bags.
You remember that Sugar Bowl game down there, the Bear? Bear going against Penn State. And this is Major Ogilvie on the pitch. Alabama led 14-7. Then what a defensive stand by the Crimson Tide, stopping them twice, 3rd and 4th downs from the goal line. And the Bear had himself back-to-back championships riding off the shoulders, off the wave of the Crimson Tide. And right now you see very little sign that Nebraska is going to be prevented from achieving back-to-back here tonight.
It's going to be hard for Florida to come back after this second quarter, Jim, but not impossible. They've done it before. They can do it again. When you've got players like Werfel, Ike Hilliard, those kind of players, you can come back if you can get psychologically back into the game. That's as difficult as anything.
Look at this. Hilliard picks it up at last. Bouncing around to the 17-yard line as play expires. He scored 29 points in the quarter. Consider that Auburn scored the most this year against Auburn. Auburn scored the most against Florida, 38. Tennessee scored 37. Nebraska scored 35 in one half of action. There's not much that shakes up Steve Spurrier, but maybe this. Let's go to Michelle Tafoya.
All right, with Coach Spurrier, you said that pass protection was going to be key. How do you give it to Danny Werfel?
Michelle, we're just getting clobbered right now. Hopefully we can try to do something to make a game out of it, but we're getting beat pretty bad all the way around.
Down 25, you haven't been down this far all season. How do you get your team emotionally back on track?
Well, we're going to keep playing hard, and hopefully something good will happen. See what happens. We'll hopefully keep throwing it around a little bit, and hopefully can pass block.
Thanks, Coach. Let's send it over to Michael Barkamp.
All right, Michelle. Coach, your game plan obviously working. Did you make any adjustments at all after they got their 10 points on the board? Because you're just exploding.
No, it's athletes. It isn't game plan. We're just playing well. And we got some speed and got some guys that can play. But, Florida's got a very explosive football team. And we got a half to go, so we're not out of this thing yet. But so far, we played well.
Your big flurry began after you got the safety. Were you surprised that they went with 5 wideouts on their own goal line?
Oh, I don't know. That's their business, and we just got to do what we got to do. But we're playing hard, and I'm really proud of our defense. So far, they played great football.
All right, Coach. Thanks, Jim.
Well, they have certainly been in sync on offense as Nebraska. And as Steve Spurrier said, hey, we got to find a way to protect our quarterback. As you said, Terry, right from the start, it hasn't happened. Nebraska leads 35-10. Pat and Boomer will be along after this message and a word from your local station.
CBS Sports presentation of the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl is sponsored by Tostitos, Oldsmobile, MasterCard, and by Budweiser. CBS Sports coverage will continue after this commercial message.
And that's the end of the first half between Nebraska and Florida.
What do you guys think you're doing?
The conga? Oh, and eating baked Tostitos tortilla chips.
Great! How good can they be?
What do you think?
Pass the salsa. No.
Is that a conga line? That's not part of the program. Who are these guys? Oh, my. Is that Charles on the field? Ladies and gentlemen, absolute pandemonium is breaking out on the field here in Sun Devil Stadium. Well, there's Rerun. Where'd he come from?
I guess they don't call this the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl for nothing.
Hey, Chris, how'd you like to be my Fiesta Bowl king?
Really? No, not really.
This is CBS.
Ernie's and Ceresco's Total Home Furnishings Clearance is an unsurpassed savings event that you won't want to miss. Major savings in all departments. Plus, enjoy free financing till January 1997. Famous General Electric profile appliances now on sale. Smooth top self-cleaning ranges. White-on-white refrigerators, dishwashers, washers, and dryers. All GE's priced to sell fast. It's the store-wide January Total Home Furnishings Clearance. Going on now at Ernie's in Ceresco.
Ladies, let's look at next week's agenda. Irene, you're down for chicken sandwiches. Lily, hand-sliced onion rings. Esther, homemade burgers. And Frida has promised to bring some of those ground beef sandwiches like she made in the old country. Meeting adjourned till the 25th.
Runza, food just like Grandma used to make.
Lincoln, a city where news and events occur around the clock. What happens in the capital city affects each of us. That's why right now, 1011 News is preparing to bring you the latest news, weather, and sports of the evening for the 10 o'clock news. Because 1011 News can bring you Lincoln's news faster, quicker, and more in-depth than any other station in Nebraska. If it concerns the people of Lincoln, it concerns 1011 News at 10.
Go Huskers!
Ford Taurus at the Half has been sponsored by the all-new Ford Taurus. A look you've never seen from a name you know well.
Nebraska scores 29 straight points in the second quarter to lead 35-10 at the half. And hi again, everybody. I'm Pat O'Brien. Welcome to Ford Taurus at the Half. And joining me is my bull partner, Boomer Esiason. And Boomer, are you as stunned as these Florida fans are?
I certainly am. I'll tell you right now, Steve Spurrier's got to get his teams in there. He's got to get them to regroup. He's got to get them to settle down. He's got to say, hey, boys, we've been down this road before. We were down to Tennessee. We came back and scored all those points in the second half. They can still win, but it's going to take a miracle.
Nebraska continuing to roll here, and Lawrence Phillips, Frazier to Phillips here, and Frazier
he actually has been the story, Lawrence Phillips has. You'll see Lawrence come this way and then come back that way for a screen. Frazier will do that little play action and move away and take a trick a little bit out of Steve Spurrier's book here. He'll throw it back against the grain, and Lawrence Phillips is making a statement tonight. 108 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns already. Looks like it's a very big night ahead for Lawrence Phillips.
I'll tell you, the Nebraska defense is making a number of statements tonight. They're showing us their whole book and the movie.
Let's give credit to where credit should be given, and that's to Charlie McBride, the defensive coordinator of the Nebraska Cornhuskers. You'll see right here on our telestrator, they will have 6 guys at the line of scrimmage right here, while Florida only has 5 to block them. And you'll see right here, Danny Werfel gets sacked from behind for a safety by a guy that's unblocked.
Is it a complete disaster for Florida?
I would say so at this moment it is. And I can tell you right now, with the way that Nebraska is running the ball and them averaging over 400 games on the ground, this is going to be a long night for Florida.
Well, next up, Boomer, will take you live to New York's Ed Sullivan Theater, where David Letterman will have a special top 10 list, and he's got some ideas for Florida as Ford Taurus at the half rolls on. Stay with us.
Around here, we take a few things very seriously, like quality, new ideas, and service. But at the end of the day, we never ever forget that our most important product is fun. That's why all of us at Frito-Lay are very proud to sponsor college football's biggest party, the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. We invite you to share the spectacle, the pageantry, and of course, the Tostitos chips and salsa.
Ford F-Series has been the best-selling truck in the world for 19 straight years. Now we're about to launch the next in line. The all-new 1997 Ford F-150. More power, more V8 payload, more new ideas. The new Ford F-150. Strength after strength after strength.
Arizona has always been known to offer the perfect climate for sports.
Mind if I play through?
But this year, more major sporting events have landed here than ever before. That can only mean the business climate must be perfect, too. Arizona, for companies on the move.
A whole new year of hope begins.
Call Geiger. What?
No. With the return of a familiar face.
Let me know if I realize something original.
And it's like he never left.
Does he look like George Clooney? Who? George Clooney. I don't know who that is.
Monday nights, there's only one drama worth watching.
Moving for custody. They're not taking my daughter.
And that drama is on CBS.
Maybe you should lose custody.
Golden Globe nominee for Best Drama.
Miss me?
Chicago Hope. It's back, and it's all new. Monday.
Well, they're playing Southern gospel music down there in the field, Boomer, and Florida could use all the help they can get here. Down 25 points, 35-10. We want to take this opportunity to thank the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl people for, well, all their hospitality this week, and by the way, for all the chips and salsa. Boomer, you had most of it, I think. And joining us now, live in New York at the Ed Sullivan Theater, is David Letterman. And David, welcome to At the Half. And how did you enjoy the first half?
Thank you very much, Pat. Well, we're having a great time here in the theater watching the ball game. By my count, we've seen 5 touchdowns, 3 field goals, 1 safety, and 100 corn chip commercials. Now, in the second half, I'm thinking Florida should really try and get the ball a little more often to Glenn Campbell. You know, it's interesting, Pat. Wednesday of last week, right here on my show, I accurately predicted the halftime score of tonight's Fiesta Bowl. Watch the tape. It's amazing. The halftime score of the Fiesta Bowl.
Nebraska 35, Florida 10.
It's amazing. It's frightening. Ladies and gentlemen, here in my right hand, I have a copy of tonight's Fiesta halftime top 10 list. Here we go. The category tonight from the home office in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and hand-delivered by top officials from the NCAA, Top 10 Rejected Cheers. And here to present tonight's Fiesta Bowl halftime top 10 list, the Late Show cheerleaders. Kids, come on out. The category, Top 10 Rejected Cheers. Here we go. Number 10.
Come on, boys, toughen up, play it down without your cup.
That's right. Number 9.
Play like winners, play like vets. You don't want to look like the New York Jets.
Number 8.
We're happy and perky. We shout and scream, 'cause all day long we've been drinking caffeine.
Did I mention I crave the corn chips? Number 7.
Do this, sing this, eat this, $1. If you've done it with Madonna, stand up and holler, yeah!
Everyone here in the theater is on their feet. Number 6.
Our school recruits illiterate athletes, yeah!
And for our friends watching south of the border, numero 5. Numero 5.
Here we go, top pitch, here we go! Here we go, top pitch, here we go!
Oh, what a lovely way to start the new year. Number 4.
Why do football games take 4 hours? Commercials, commercials, yeah, commercials!
Number 3.
We're the champs, we're the best, so why are we on CBS?
Interesting question, isn't it? Number 2.
You don't have to stay ahead, you just have to beat the spread!
Just a joke, of course. We're just joking. And the number 1 rejected cheer.
Letterman, he's our man, if he can't do it, Whoopi can!
Thank you very much. There you go. That's the old top 10 list. Thank you very much, boys and the second half of the game. We'll see you later on The Late Show. Happy New Year. Good luck in the playoffs, Boomer. Thanks for watching.
You know what? That was my suit he was wearing.
I gotta tell you, he's lucky he's back in New York and not sitting in this chair.
David, thank you. We'll throw you some Tostitos. Do you have a top 10 list for Florida?
No, not really. The only thing I could tell you is that they just have to come out, relax, just try to do the best they can, put up as many points as they can as quickly as possible. As far as Nebraska is concerned, Paul Brown, our great coach from Cincinnati Bengals, used to tell us, when you have your foot placed firmly on the throat of your opponent, never lift to reset it, because that's when they can come out and make a play on you. So Nebraska doesn't have to do anything.
All right, Boomer, thank you. Coming up, Jim and Terry as Ford Taurus at the half continues. Enjoy the second half. We'll see you later.
The new Ford Taurus. When seen, it leaves an impression. When driven, creates a stir. When owned, lives up to its promise. And when judged, wins award after award after award after award. The new Ford Taurus, the success story that never ends.
Making the dream come true.
When you're rushing in a hurry, what's for dinner? Not to worry. When a pizza just won't cut it, more Chinese, you're sick of it. For a warm and hearty supper, grab some chunky from the cupboard. It's not really such a big deal to prepare yourself a square meal. Chunks of beef and big potatoes. And of course, we've got tomatoes, peas and vegetables galore. Chunky soup, need we say more? Campbell's Chunky. Soup that eats like a meal.
A dilemma. As an adult, I insist on a cereal that offers nutrition. Yet I can't deny that part of me desires frosting! I want frosting! The proper cereal is low in fat, salt, and taste. What about taste?
Relax. With Kellogg's Frosted Mini Wheats, you can have it both ways. For the adult in you, whole grain wheat, 98% fat-free, no salt added. For the kid in you, lightly frosted, great taste.
I know it goes on my tray. The sweet stuff.
I wish this could last all night. All night.
Duracell. Oh, it can. And tomorrow night, and maybe the next night, and the following day. The Copper Top. No battery is stronger, longer.
We invest in our researchers because it is part of the bargain we made with the past, our ancestors who invested in this place so we could succeed. We, in turn, have to invest today so that tomorrow our children and grandchildren will succeed. And it is that transfer of commitment and obligation from generation to generation that gives the university its tremendous power to empower those who are here today.
At Nebraska, we have more academic All-American athletes than any other university in the country. Because it's not just about winning here, it's about reaching personal goals. Outstanding students building on Nebraska's traditions of excellence on the court and in the classroom. That's success. That's Nebraska.
You've seen him laugh. You've seen him cry. You've seen what makes him angry. You may even think you know him, but you've never known him like this. Montel Williams is Matt Waters.
We all have to take responsibility for how we shape our lives.
A teacher with a passion to make a difference.
That's what I came here for.
Matt Waters series premiere. Then, American Gothic is the season's best new series. Gary Cole is a truly menacing presence. The most riveting series of the season. And it's back on a new night, Wednesday.
All right, Jim Nance and Terry Donahue back at the Fiesta Bowl. 35-10 is the score at halftime, and I don't think anyone expected to see that kind of number up there at the half.
Well, Jim, you know, we said at the top of the program that Nebraska could blitz Werfel. They would upset the whole offensive team of Florida, and that's exactly what they did. They got to him 5 times. They knocked him around 3 other times. Florida has got to solve the pass protection problem at halftime to have a chance in the second half.
Let's show some of the say, other problems that they must solve. Some of the action from the first half. Here's one of the problems that Florida has not been able to get a hold of all night. Lawrence Phillips, he has really put together some impressive action.
Nebraska came out and ran the ball like they've done all season. The best offensive line in the country and the best group of tailbacks.
Well, they got to the quarterback Werfel 5 times, including the safety on the sack by Jamel Williams. And then Werfel with pressure picked off Michael Booker, and Booker taking it 42 yards for the touchdown. 29 points in the second quarter, and the numbers also just as staggering. Look at the rushing yardage. Florida's side minus 13, and Nebraska, I mean, machine-like, really almost right on average. They averaged 399 yards a game this season. And look at this, 198 in the first half. Terry?
And they're playing the second team in the country, the number 2 team in America, and they're right on schedule. Nothing changes when Nebraska plays anybody. They just keep wearing you down, rip your defense apart, and they keep scoring points at you as faster than you can rack them up.
Boy, they are racking them up quickly. Okay, we'll get back for the second half when we continue in just a moment.
Ford Taurus at the Half has been sponsored by the all-new Ford Taurus. A look you've never seen from a name you know well.
This is CBS.
Nebraska fans can celebrate with the Nebraska Nike collections at Sports Village. Sports Village has all the latest Cornhusker merchandise from Adidas, Stoddard, Gold Sand, Logo 7, Number 1 apparel, and more. Sports Village also has collectible Nebraska merchandise and Nebraska clothing just made for the kids. And check out Mid-Nebraska's largest selection of Nike shoes, T-shirts, sweatshirts, bag socks, nylon pants, jackets, and hats. Sports Village in the Hilltop Mall in Kearney.
After my second heart attack, it was going to require surgery. I didn't want to go to Omaha. When the doctors, the Good Samaritan, offered to do the operation here, I took it.
The outcome of his surgery was excellent. He was able to return to an active lifestyle, which he enjoys. Dick has been a patient of mine for years, a friend of mine. I think we're both very pleased indeed.
Good Samaritan Health Systems. Heart care close to home.
Being number 1, it means teamwork. New players working alongside seasoned veterans. Knowing you will have an impact on all the people watching you. And that every second counts. But mostly, it means having a winning attitude.
Number 1 for news, weather, and sports coverage. 1011, your Capital City news station.
Go Big Red! Go, go, go!
CBS Sports presentation of the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl is sponsored by Tostitos, Plymouth, and by Pizza Hut. CBS Sports coverage will continue after this commercial message.
Now let's go down to the field with those fans who started the conga party at halftime.
Guys, that was quite a spectacle. What happened?
Well, we forgot our tickets. I must have left them in the other fanny pack that I have, but we have these baked Tostitos.
Baked? How good can they be?
Well, what do you think?
That's the salsa.
Now let's send you back to the booth.
Hi, am I still on?
No, not really.
And I think that might be about how the Florida whole system feels about right now. Well, they felt like everything's out of sync there after Florida saw their quarterback get sacked time and time again in the first 2 quarters, and Nebraska running up and down the field.
Jim, the other problem is you're down by 25 points, and Nebraska gets the ball to start the second half.
Oh, boy.
But, you know, the first possession of the second half, I've always felt throughout the years, has been the most important possession of the game oftentimes. You've got to be able to come out and reestablish or establish what you're going to do in the second half. And often the first possession of that half is the most critical one. If Florida can come out, get a stop on Nebraska, make them punt, get their own offense back on the team, they've got a chance to get their rhythm and get back into this contest.
Teague the kick to Benning and Childs. They pop it up short. And it's fielded by Nebraska and down at the 32-yard line.
Hess returns.
That was John Hess making the catch. And let's go down to Michelle Tafoya.
All right, Jim, had a quick word with the coaching staff of Florida. They said on defense, it's not what we're doing, it's how we're doing it. And they also discovered that this offense is having an awful tough time communicating at the line because of the noise in this stadium. Also an update on Jacquez Green. He's being transported to the hospital to be kept overnight. They reduced the dislocation. There is no fracture. He will stay overnight in the local hospital.
Lawrence Phillips with the first carry and good room again.
Jim, this is where the Florida defense has to get pumped up. Nebraska will pound on you, big man on big man. They'll make it physical, and they'll just wear you out if you can't get your defense pumped up to play in the second half, and you can't do it by giving up 8 yards on the first snap.
Chester digging in for Florida. Second down and 2. Phillips they go. And that time Chester got him. Or maybe a loss of a yard. I'll say this about Lawrence Phillips. This is most likely his last game at Nebraska. It's the end of his junior year. He wants to get some feedback from NFL advisory committee. Will he go in the first round of the draft? If he gets some positive information back, the feeling is that's all it'll take to trigger his announcement. He'll go on to the NFL. We talked to some scouts this week. They said it's not even a question about him being a first rounder. He might be the first pick. And the play whistle dead. Still time, though, to shake one more tackle.
Dead ball, delay of game on the offense. 5-yard penalty, repeat third down.
Rushing yardage has now bettered Florida's total offense. Phillips' total offense, that includes the 16-yard catch for the touchdown.
That delay of game puts them in 3rd and 8 as opposed to 3rd and 2. I think this is a good break for Florida here.
3rd and 7. Taken to the line to Phillips. Kavicka bouncing around to the 43-yard line, and enough for the first. He runs the football. It kind of looks like a tailback maybe at some other schools, and he was a tailback, in fact, when he first arrived at Nebraska.
High school tailback. We said at the very beginning that Florida had to tackle well tonight. Frazier hits the fullback out in the flat. He doesn't make the first down initially, but he breaks 2 tackles and falls forward for the critical first down.
On the 43, Phillips trying the right side. And out to the 47 with Ben Hanks slicing the ball carrier.
Jim, what's incredible is that I don't think a lot of people realize that Florida's got 8 and sometimes 9 people up on the line of scrimmage to try and stop this rushing attack from Nebraska. It's not like they're playing with 7 up there. They're playing with 9.
Second down, 6. Phillips doing a lot of work now no gain. Maybe give him a yard. David Barnard has a hold of him, along with Ben Hanks and others. So Werfel wanting to get that high-tech Gator offense all season back on track, back to what people are accustomed to seeing. Wanting his defense to make a big stop here. 3rd down 6. Good fake. That throws Kgin open. Quester Johnson down to the 16, 17-yard line. There's a case where Frazier just froze the Gators. They had to respect Phillips.
Jim, we said all along that Nebraska will run, and then they will play action. This is an example of why Tommy Frazier is so hard to stop. He's an accurate passer off the play-action fake.
Down to the 17. Well, the halftime break certainly didn't throw Nebraska out of rhythm. Inside, Makavika for no gain. Hanks on the hit. Tennessee again put up 37 on them. But they won all of these games. They outscored Auburn 49-38, 35-24 over Florida State.
They've never played an offensive team like this tonight.
Nice with that. 2nd down and 9. Blocking in front for his quarterback. And a 1-yard gain. So, keeping Werfel on the sidelines. Werfel anxious to get back in there, but Nebraska, well, we'll face a 3rd down situation here.
Jim, it's what we talked about. Nebraska keeps the ball. They keep Florida's offense off the field. Nebraska keeps the ball. They wear Florida's defense down.
3rd and 8. The 8th play of the drive. And they've had the football already for 5 minutes. The end zone and intercepted. 2nd time tonight. And Anthone Lott makes the pick in the end zone. And Frazier kind of holding on to a hamstring. So the Gator defense comes up with a play.
It's a big play, Jim. Tommy Frazier's going to want that ball back when the night's over with. He had points in the bag. He was in great field position. He went for it all, but he's going to regret throwing that ball. He's going to dream about it.
That's Willie Rogers decking the quarterback. He's holding on to that hamstring. Florida will have the ball when we come back.
That was some kick. Thanks, man. You know, I'll never forget today's game as long as I live. There must have been a couple hundred people out there. Not a cloud in the sky.
And my man Chuck over here with the twisted ankle, get the 25-yarder.
We'll be talking about this for years. Absolutely. Hey, did we ever tell you ladies about the kick?
Kick? 2,000 people were cheering us on in the pouring rain.
And then Chuck, with the broken leg no less, kicked the game-winning field goal from 25 yards out.
Wow.
What a kick. Did I ever tell you kids about the kick? 50,000 fans going absolutely crazy. It was in the middle of that freak November blizzard.
And then your dad, in a full-body cast, came up with that miracle kick from 68 yards.
You ever notice how things seem to get better and better around a Pizza Hut pizza?
I remember it like it was yesterday. Absolutely.
Pizza Hut. You'll love the stuff we're made of.
Plymouth Neon. Fun and affordability in 4-door and coupe. The all-new Plymouth Voyager and Grand Voyager, the next generation of the minivan. And the new Plymouth Breeze, the sports sedan with fun for 5. The new line of Plymouths. What'll they come up with next?
To make you strong, to keep you warm.
For inspiration.
There is only one thing you need. And bring me back a t-shirt.
Visa, the only card accepted at the 1996 Olympic Games.
And a hat would be nice, too.
What happens when Sybil takes on the Big Apple?
We're waking up in the city that never sleeps. Yeah, because it was staying up nights thinking of new ways to screw me over.
All new Sybil on a special night, Monday.
Well, the Nebraska training staff massaging the right leg of quarterback Tommy Frazier, who's been picked off for the second time tonight. Elijah Williams in the backfield. Will this give Florida momentum, or just a blip on the Nebraska screen here tonight?
Marker down.
As they whistle the play dead before it really gets going, let's check in with Michael Barkan.
Jim, massaging his right, the lower left calf of Tommy Frazier cramping, likewise the upper right hamstring cramping. They put some balm on it, and he should be good to go. Jim?
Well, his backup, I know, would love to see some action in his final game in Nebraska uniform. Brooke Behringer, who stepped in last year, started 7 games, led Nebraska into that national championship game last year.
And he can play himself.
First 15 from the pocket. Werfel looking for a big one. Oh, and he had Riedel Anthony in Nebraska territory. Michael Booker broke it up. We've seen Booker break up 2 passes tonight and run 1 back for a touchdown. I think he got a fingertip on it, threw off the whole timing.
He sure did. You know, coming into the game, people felt that Booker was the weakest part of the Nebraska secondary, and here he is tonight with a big game.
Having a huge night. 2nd and 15. Werfel getting his protection, trying the right sideline. And Hilliard was the man he was looking for. The Gators' first 3 possessions. Now, take into consideration that it was all in the first quarter, these 3 possessions. And then nothing.
You have to wonder, Jim, how much of the timing and the rhythm that has been thrown off for Danny Werfel tonight has affected those statistics. Early in the game, they had that timing, that rhythm. They had it their way. Then the Nebraska defense began to apply that pressure.
5 receivers in the game. Third down, 15. Look out. Farley. Werfel never had a chance. Dumped him at the 6. The numbers just not matching up tonight for Florida.
You can't have 5 offensive linemen handling 6 rushers. You can count them. You can see where they're coming from. The problem is you just don't know how to adjust your offense because they come from both sides. But as you spread out, the Nebraska defense puts you in vectors coming from both ends.
Robbie Stevenson's punt. He felt some pressure from Farley. Takes a favorable Florida kick. And then down by Benning at the 45-yard line. So unable to put anything together after the interception, Nebraska comes back out with the big lead.
The new Plymouth Voyager was named Automobile Magazine's All-Star Minivan for 1996. Car and Driver ranked it in their 10 best automobiles of 1996. And not only does it surpass other minivans on the road, but with a 3-liter, 150 horsepower V6 engine, it has 36 times the cargo space of a Porsche 911 for about 1/3 of the price.
That's good, Gloria. When can FedEx deliver these boxes?
Well,
They said they could deliver them by 8 a.m. tomorrow. That's great. Or by 10:30 tomorrow. Or on Monday by 8, 10:30, or 3, or same day Valentine's Day, Groundhog Day, on Saturday, or even today. Oh, I forgot.
Now, with same-day 8 a.m. and 10:30 delivery, no one gives you more delivery options than FedEx.
Hey, when can FedEx deliver those boxes?
Gloria? Well, they could get it there by 8 a.m. or by...
FedEx, absolutely, positively, anytime.
Defiant. Brilliant. As complicated as the times he lived in.
When do the rest of us stop paying off your debt?
This is Nixon's finish. He never gave up.
We got the big bull. We're back.
Siskel and Ebert give Nixon 2 thumbs up. Absolutely riveting. Man doesn't cry. I don't cry. The fight. From director Oliver Stone, Anthony Hopkins. Nixon. Rated R. Now playing.
Hey, you okay? It's 3 o'clock.
I can't believe this heartburn. You and your Let's Go Mexican tonight.
You didn't take the Pepsid AC before you ate, did you?
Pepsid AC?
Yeah. Could have stopped your heartburn before it even started.
Oh, so I could actually be sleeping right now.
We could be sleeping.
Wait.
Take one now, it controls acid all night long.
Oh, all night?
Mm-hmm. Water?
You're so good to me.
You can sleep heartburn-free with Pepsid AC.
As we look at the numbers here in this game summary, Terry Donahue, what were you expecting for Florida rushing figures tonight? We knew they wouldn't stack up with Nebraska.
Well, Jim, in talking to Steve Spurrier and his staff, they really didn't feel they could run the ball very well on Nebraska. No one has all season. They shouldn't have expected to. I really felt that they could have 50 or 60 yards of rushing offense to try and keep that defense at least honest and slow down the pass rush. It would really help them in the game. But as it turned out, they're minus negative yards.
Sure, they never expected that big of a disaster. Their season low is 81 yards. And here's Nebraska just grinding it out, working that clock as we approach the midway point of the third quarter. Huskers leading 35-10.
Jim, I think what we're going to see here, this will be a typical Nebraska drive. They'll keep the ball on the ground, make it physical, and every once in a while sprinkle in a play-action pass for a chunky yardage. This eats up the clock. It also wears away at the Florida defense.
Second down at 5. Frazier not missing any action. Cramp taken care of. In fact, he's going to tuck it under. Look at this. Running for good yardage, out of bounds at the 35.
They knocked him right into the kicker's net.
Is that, what kind of net yardage do you get on that play?
Jim, this is a quarterback draw, and Tommy Frazier breaks it outside, gets a great crack block by the wide receiver, and uses his speed down the sideline.
Watch this. He's up, he's down, and it's good. He's good. All of that for a first down. Phillips for a quick 4. James Bates made the tackle. Well, Nebraska, we watch these running backs that just put up these enormous numbers, and they got an operator like Tommy Frazier, but the offensive line, always a huge trademark in this program.
The best in the country, Jim. You're looking at Aaron Graham, one of the all-time great centers in Nebraska history. Dave Remington was a great one. This guy's a great one.
2nd and 6. Running up the middle for only a yard with Makovica. You know, it's an offensive line that lost 4 starters off of last year's championship team. Only Graham returned. I mean, how good are they? Take a look at their left tackle. You know, here's a guy, Chris Dishman, who entered the starting lineup just this year. And did they get respect at Nebraska? One preseason publication listed him 2nd team preseason All-America. Hadn't even started a game. It's like, hey,
once you get the start, you become an All-American.
You call up the SI Day. Who are your starters this year? Okay, well, probably going to be a 2nd team All-America. Let's put him on the team. They know. looking to pass. Reggie Ball was wide open. That would have given Phillips the trifecta tonight. He's already caught one and run for one and then trying to throw for one.
Jim, Nebraska runs play-action passes. This looks exactly like a run to the secondary, and then Phillips tries to become a quarterback. He's a tailback. He's not a quarterback.
Reggie Ball, there was no one around him. He had 20 yards open. One of the few things that Lawrence Phillips hasn't performed at a high level tonight. And on 4th and 5, Nebraska getting very close to the first down yardage. The Gators think they've held them. Makovica had to get just past the 25, and they have stopped them. They're not even going to measure. So some half yard shy of the necessary yardage. They bypass a field goal opportunity. What do you think of that?
Well, it was too long. I think that Tom Osborne feels that he has to be in a certain area of the field. That would have been a long kick for him. He runs a running play. He eats up the clock. He just misses it by about a foot or so. He almost makes it anyway.
So here's a quarter where Florida really had to make something happen, and they've had the ball for only 3 plays. Nebraska's used up almost 8.5 minutes on the clock in this quarter. 6 minutes to go. Third quarter with Florida trailing 35-10. 1 second on the play clock. Just beat it. And now, can they beat him over here one-on-one coverage? They do. Hilliard going out of bounds at midfield. Michael Booker, he was pretty close to him, and that pass had to be just right, and it was.
That was a great throw by Danny Wilkins. The bump and run coverage is what Nebraska has played most of the night. Florida has had difficulty trying to beat it, but on this particular play, Wuerffel put the ball right where it needed to be to make a beautiful pass.
Gators wasting no time from the 50. Setting up the reverse, Riedel Anthony. Good tackle there by Terrell Farley. Terrell Farley's having quite a game for himself also. He was the only junior college recruit this year and came onto the Big 8 scene in a big way. Newcomer of the year, first team all Big 8, and he only started 5 games the last 5 of the season.
He runs like a defensive back. The key to Nebraska's defense is that the outside linebackers can run like defensive backs.
Second down, 6. Wuerffel, man open, defender fell down. And Ike Hilliard makes another grab on this series. 18-yard reception. This is a guy who can break the big play on you also.
Ike Hilliard just driving downfield, acting like he's going deep and runs a little stop route. Ike Hilliard this year, Jim, throughout the season, after every 4 receptions, this guy had a touchdown. You might throw it to him 12 times in a row, score 3 touchdowns, and get out of here.
That'd be your game plan, wouldn't it? Looking for a little more trickery. Back to Riedel Anthony, and defenders everywhere. Christian Peter and Grant Wistrom. I'll tell you, Wistrom stayed at home on that one. The true sophomore who comes off a fall semester where he had a 4.0 GPA.
The Nebraska coaches think that this will be their next All-American defensive lineman. Grant Wistrom plays the reverse perfectly. Stays at home where he needs to be. Makes sure that no big plays come back his way.
Second down and 14. Wuerffel. Picked off again. Intercepted. Eric Stokes. The junior from Lincoln ends the Florida hopes on that series.
Florida had a nice drive going here, Jim. Danny Wuerffel turned that ball loose. It's just an outstanding play by the Nebraska defensive back.
So how's your headache?
Well, it's gone. That was fast.
So the Tylenol I gave you worked, even on your really tough headache.
Tylenol worked great, even on my tough headache.
So you were wrong.
I was wrong.
More than aspirin, more than ibuprofen. For headaches, doctors recommend extra-strength Tylenol the most.
I like a guy who can admit he's wrong.
I'm wrong a lot.
This is about how you go to sleep one day, running your business the same way you always have, and wake up the next morning with things like email, voicemail, PCs, pages, a new communications network for free. It's not a fairy tale, a myth, or a parable. This is about how things can really happen. This is about opening your eyes instead of closing them, and making a call instead of a wish. Network MCI, that's how.
My father always said, remember, son, to make it to the 1996 Olympic Games in Atlanta, you need determination, perseverance, and an iron will. Then he forgets the one bloomin' thing you really need.
Ah! You forgot your Visa card!
Visa. The only card accepted at these Olympic Games.
That was my dad, wasn't it?
It's everywhere you want to be.
Plymouth Neon Coupe with a zippy 2-liter 16-valve engine. Ride-tuned suspension, a 5-speed tranny, and 132 wild ponies. It's a pretty hot little number. Plymouth Neon Coupe, just $99.95.
Tonight on The Late Show with Fiesta Dave, fun with friends Lisa Goudreau, Blues Traveler, and Hall of Famer Art Donovan. He's a punk. Tonight on CBS.
Eric Stokes making the interception, giving it back to the Cornhuskers with 4 minutes and change remaining third quarter. Frazier out to the 41. Lawrence Wright on the tackle, 11 yards. And Steve Spurrier, when his quarterback came off the field,
First and 10 at the 41.
Danny.
He goes against the fullbacks. CPI photo finish.
Steve Spurrier plays the game in his mind. He sees the field better than any coach in college football. He's an ex-quarterback. He knows exactly where he wanted Danny Werfel to go with that ball.
Phillips takes it outside. Saw that it was shut down where it was intended to go and picks up another nice piece of yardage there. 11 yards. Broke away from Ben Hanks.
I wouldn't be surprised, Jim, to see Nebraska just begin to keep pounding away at that Florida defense, eat the clock up, continue to make it a physical game so that by the fourth quarter, it's over. That's what they're trying to get done right now.
They're shortening this game, I would say, rather quickly. Third quarter racing by. Phillips, look at that, so graceful the way he gallops around those defenders and then somersaults down to the 41-yard line. Blocks by Dishman and Gilman. Looked like he was gliding on that play.
You know, they've had so many great I-backs at Nebraska. You think of the different guys they've had over the years, Rozier, I.M. Hip, all of their great backs, and we're watching two of the best backs they've ever had in Lawrence Phillips and Amon Green, who hasn't even really played all that much.
No, they've just brought in a new one. Clinton Childs, the senior from Omaha, Nebraska, comes in for a play from scrimmage for the first time tonight. And they go fullback up the middle with Makovica. Seco Brown with a tackle in the secondary. Yeah, they've had some kind of history at Nebraska. Jarvis Redwine. You mentioned I.M. Hip, Roger Craig with the fullback and I-back, and of course the Heisman Trophy winner that the coach mentioned, Rozier. Here's Clinton Childs, though. He was the man who initially replaced Phillips early in the season before he was injured. Frazier loading up, going down the sideline. Good coverage. Well defended by Fred Weary. Clester Johnson was the Cornhusker receiver.
A lot of people think that Tom Osborne is a conservative coach. He's anything but a conservative coach. He simply believes in the running game. He will run the ball, and then he will go for big strikes against your defense at every opportunity that he sees.
Second and 10. And again, they give him a new look. We've seen this only 2 other times tonight. 5 receivers, quarterback draw, Tommy Frazier. Goodbye, Tommy Frazier with a touchdown. 35 yards.
Jim, we said he was the most difficult athlete in college football today to try and defend. He can run like crazy, this guy.
Look at this. And Spurrier just despondent.
They spread him out across the field just like Florida did, but they run the quarterback draw with Tommy Frazier. Great block by the right guard, Steve Ott, number 69.
They just spread him out with the 5 wides, and Frazier is over 100 yards. He has 120 yards on the night, on the ground. And the Cornhuskers, Nebraska, just annihilating Florida.
Plymouth Neon. Fun and affordability in 4-door and coupe. The all-new Plymouth Voyager and Grand Voyager, the next generation of the minivan. And the new Plymouth Breeze, the sports sedan with fun for 5. The new line of Plymouths. What'll they come up with next?
To make you strong, to keep you warm. For inspiration.
There is only one thing you need. And bring me back a t-shirt.
Visa, the only card accepted at the 1996 Olympic Games.
And a hat would be nice, too.
This is a Cornhusker crush. 42-10. We'll run it out. Hilliard will. 23-yard line, the starting point. Eric Stokes, who made the interception earlier, made the tackle on that play.
This is the Nebraska trap play. All they do is run the trap play with the quarterback now as opposed to the fullback. They've executed this play 100 times a week in their practice repetition. Frazier in the open field, forget it. He's going to score.
2:14 remaining third quarter. Nebraska has scored 36 unanswered points after trailing 10-6 after 1. Tommy Frazier, and it's still that right leg cramping. Didn't bother him too much on the quarterback draw, did it?
Sure hasn't. It's unbelievable. I can't tell you how impressed I am with the entire Nebraska team, but particularly with Tommy Frazier and Lawrence Phillips and that offensive line.
Second down and 8. That was looking for Jerome Evans. Wistrom and Saltzman were in on the quarterback. You know, Werfel has had heavy pressure all night, more so than he's ever seen. But would they consider bringing in Eric Kresser, his backup, who threw 12 touchdowns this year?
At some point, Jim, but I don't think right now. This isn't Danny Werfel's fault. Nebraska is just a superior team.
That's what I'm saying. All that pressure has just made it impossible for this man who led the nation in passing this year. Third and 8. And that's a completion to Terry Jackson. And he got the first down.
Tackled by Farley.
Terry Jackson keeping a little tradition alive at Florida.
You know, sometimes a number belongs to a family. Terry Jackson, number 22. His father, Willie Jackson, receiver at Florida in the 70s. Willie Jr. set several Florida receiving records. And now Terry Jackson, he gets to wear number 22.
Well, his father broke the color barrier on the Gator football team when he started playing there in 1969. They've all worn 22. And here's Werfel getting away from the heat, finding an open man. Here's a play that's worked. Chris Doring, who has been silent for what seems like ages now. 30 yards on that one.
Danny Werfel runs the reverse fake here. Comes off the play action, makes a nice move to avoid the sack, and finds Chris Doring open on the sideline. You know, Florida is a very prideful team, Jim. They're not going to lie down. They're a tough group of competitors. They're the number 2 team in the country, and don't forget it.
Werfel loading that gun and firing it long, and the ball is caught for a touchdown by Hilliard. That was some over-the-shoulder catch. 35-yard strike. Ike Hilliard caught an 82-yard touchdown last year in the Sugar Bowl to set a Sugar Bowl record. He gets on the board here tonight for the Gators.
Here we see Ike Hilliard. Nebraska is not in their typical bump and run coverage. They were off the ball. They gave him a cushion. He took advantage of it.
Just have to get 1 foot down in college football. That was awful close. And they're going to go for 2. Flooding the right side, 3 receivers. Got a man, Riedel Anthony. That makes it 42-18. Remember now, you have to have only 1 foot down in college football. It was a sensational catch by Hilliard, looking back.
And a great throw. Watch where this ball is placed for the receiver.
But does he have the foot down when he catches it? Judgment was the left foot down as he caught it.
Well, hard to know. Looks like he was out of bounds, really, Jim.
It really does.
They may have gotten away with one there, but, you know, the guy right on the spot, he's got the best seat in the house.
52 seconds to go in quarter number 3 with Nebraska leading 42-18. Florida has just snapped that unbelievable streak that no one would have imagined would happen in this game tonight, where Nebraska rattled off some 36 unanswered points. So Florida rebounds with a score here in the final minute of the 3rd quarter. 42-18. Onside kick consideration here for you.
With Steve Spurrier, you never know what's going to happen.
Kick away. And deep one, too. Damon Binning will set the Cornhuskers at the 20-yard line. Tony George exchanging words. He was shaken up a little bit earlier in this game. Clinton Childs really getting into it and trying to keep the Cornhusker fans lively.
Jim, as a coach, what happens when you're this far ahead, you always have a gut feeling or a worry that you wonder, am I going to keep the momentum? Am I going to be able to keep my team on this roll? And conversely, when you're Steve Spurrier, you're wondering, can I get my team back into the game? A pass here, a pass there. All of a sudden, I can get back into this football game.
There's Clinton Childs, the 3rd different tailback we've seen tonight. He was in on that last series also. and resulted in a Frazier touchdown run. But again, he was the one who replaced Phillips in the third game of the season against Arizona State, and the first play for the Cornhuskers in that game. He went 65 yards for a touchdown, had 143 yards in the game before he injured a knee and lost the starting position to injury.
Well, all three of their tailbacks are over 7 yards per carry average.
Frazier adding more numbers, more yards to those big. Oh, they don't have him yet. Look at Tommy Frazier. How many tackles can one man break? Touchdown. 75 yards, put him over 200 on the night, a career high. What did he tell you about tackling?
Steve Spurrier made this statement: we have got to tackle well to win this football game. Steve knew, like every good football coach knows, when it comes down to a championship playoff game, you need to get your fundamentals, you need to execute your fundamentals. In this case, it's tackling. It's not that the Florida players don't want to tackle. It's not that they're not good enough to tackle. They're just having to tackle great players.
His second touchdown run of the night, 14 carries, make it 195, a career high. And this, in his final game as the Nebraska quarterback, on his way to a 33-3 record as a starter. It's almost as though Florida thought the whistle had blown, but it hadn't. No one complained about it. I mean, he shook off of 4 tackles. Daniels, Wright, Weary. No one was left. This man was the MVP of the 94 Orange Bowl, the 95 Orange Bowl, and who do you think the favorite is to be the MVP of the 96 Fiesta?
He's going to get a couple votes.
That will end things in the third quarter. Riedel Anthony to the 36-yard line, but through 3, Nebraska 49, Florida 18, and CBS Sports coverage of the 1996 Fiesta Bowl continues after this message and a word from your local station.
Here's another clever idea from Plymouth. In the new Plymouth Grand Voyager, a seat is not only a seat, it's a table and a cup holder. It can come with a drawer, and one seat can convert into 2 reclining child safety seats. Overall, the Plymouth Grand Voyager seats are the best minivan seats on wheels. In fact, they're the only minivan seats on wheels. Clever idea. Plymouth Grand Voyager. It simply slides, folds, protects, unfolds, rolls, and drives better.
This is CBS.
Okay, students. Today we discuss the theory of cellular synergy, when 1 + 1 + 1 equals 1. This theory was first proven when First Cellular Omaha, Lincoln Telephone Cellular, and Nebraska Cellular joined forces to create one unmatched statewide cellular network. 3 companies with one universal purpose: quality cellular communication for Nebraska and beyond. Turn papers next week.
According to an independent poll, mothers who delivered their babies at Bryan were more satisfied with their care than mothers who went to other Lincoln hospitals. It's true, and just one more reason to choose a health plan offering Bryan Memorial Hospital as a full-service provider. Bryan is preferred by more Lincoln residents, and no other Lincoln hospital is better prepared to serve your family's health care needs. So become an informed health care consumer, because you deserve the whole story.
So what's it going to be, Dion? Football or baseball?
Both, boss.
Both?
Both.
Offense or defense?
Both.
Both?
Both.
Both. Both.
Pizza Hut.
Meat lovers or stuffed crust pizza?
Both.
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 Want it all? Now Pizza Hut offers our lovers line toppings. Meat lovers, pepperoni lovers, or supreme. Piled high in a stuffed crust pizza.
So what'll it be, Dion? 15, 20 million?
Both.
Both. You'll love the stuff we're made of.
Deb Collins, 1011 News.
Presentation of the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl is sponsored by Tostitos, the new Dodge, FedEx, and by Pepsid AC Acid Controller.
Florida keeps the starting group in at the 36 to start the fourth quarter, driving last time for a touchdown. And Terry Jackson swarmed right away by Terrell Farley and friends. Mike Minter, Christian Peter. Fourth quarter, they're saying on the Nebraska sideline, someone said, hey, let's really kick it into gear now.
We're going to keep on building it on. We're going to keep on pouring it on, baby. Pouring it on.
Guys like that never play always do all that talking.
Yeah.
Arizona Canyon Commanders, the official Commander backs of the Fiesta Bowl.
Second and 11. And Warfel down for a 7th sack. He's never been sacked that many times in his career. Grant Wistrom.
Also 9.
Grant Wistrom is a great defensive end with excellent speed. They believe that this guy will be the next All-American defensive end at Nebraska.
Well, some of your tips for Nebraska before the game?
Certainly, number 3, break Werfel's rhythm. The Nebraska defense has been able to do that tonight.
And I think points 1 and 2 apply also. Ball control, they've had it. And they've lined up properly also.
They've not given him a cheap touchdown.
How about an interception? Third one of the night. Tony Veland. Tony Veland, who at one time harbored hopes of being the starting quarterback at Nebraska. He was the number 1 quarterback after the spring practice of '92.
This is just a nice athletic move by Tony Vreeland. The ball was laid up there, and he made the break on it and came up with the big interception.
He was behind quarterback Mark Grant in the spring of '92, but Grant broke a collarbone, so it gave him the job. And now in the fall, he ends up just a few weeks before the season opener suffering the same injury, broken collarbone. Found himself when he came back behind a guy named Tommy Frazier. So he moved into defense to be able to play. And here's Phillips returning.
You know, Jim, I think one of the things that you have to keep in perspective is that Florida is the 2nd-ranked team in the country. Danny Werfel is one of the best players ever to play quarterback in the NCAA, and here he is against this defense having a heck of a hard time. I think that speaks volumes about the Nebraska defense.
Second down and 4. And that tackle by Chester prevented Phillips from kicking it in gear. Johnny Rutledge pouncing on him also. A new attendance record at the Fiesta Bowl and the Sun Devil Stadium record also. Just 136 shy of 80,000. 79,864. 5,000 more than the previous Fiesta record when Notre Dame defeated West Virginia in 1989. There's the Super Bowls coming up here in less than 4 weeks. Pitch, Phillips, well played. Well played by Anthony Lott. So they stop him this time. 3 downs and out. And let's go down to Michelle Tafoya.
Well, Jim, Ben Hanks, number 11, has been considered a very special player on this Florida defense all season. So special that when he came in as a high academic risk, Steve Spurrier actually went to the president of the university to get him admitted. And Hanks made such an impression on everyone with his work habits both in football and in school that Steve Spurrier took his own number 11 out of retirement to give it to Hanks. And when Hanks leaves after this game tonight, that number 11 will go on to another special player. Jim?
He has been a special one for Coach Spurrier, and look at this. Ball free, still down, and finally recovered by the Cornhuskers. So Jesse Cush came on to punt for the first time tonight. I was beginning to wonder if the starting punter was even going to be able to say that he played in the championship game. So Riedel Anthony couldn't handle it, and Nebraska's looking to add to this enormous total of 49 points.
"22 minutes, 16 seconds past the hour.
Bye.
Nice guy, James. His name's William. A familiar face.
Shall we tell him it's raining? What, ruin his day?
A morning smile. An extra step. A touch of diplomacy.
Au revoir, monsieur. Ciao.
What's he? No, that was James. It was William. At 22 minutes past the hour.
Good news, down. But it got here anyway, didn't it? Amazing.
Quietly, with a little fanfare, the people of FedEx are using their know-how, determination, and heart to treat your package as if it were the most important package of all. Because to them, that's exactly what it is.
It was James, such a nice boy. He is a nice boy, but his name's William.
If we violate the laws of physics, will we be punished? Well, we did. We gave Stratus a new type of tire that offers the tread life and enhanced fuel economy of a tire engineered for efficiency, yet sticks to the road like a tire engineered for performance. A clear violation of physical law. Thus far, there have been no legal repercussions. Dodge Stratus. It's full of answers.
Now get 1.9% financing, 500 cash savings, or a low lease rate.
Consider credit card rebates, gasoline, airline miles, cars. Many can hold you down with restrictions or yearly limits. But not the Discover card. The more you use your card, the higher your cashback bonus award. And you're never restricted on how you can use cash. When it comes to rebates from the Discover card, the sky's the limit. It pays to Discover, the card that pays you back. Use it where you see the Novus sign.
Nebraska's first punt of the night results in a fumble and a recovery by Brendan Holbein at the 22. Frazier saw option 1 close down, went for option 2, and Lawrence Wright jumped in front of Mark Gilman.
Pass tip by Wright.
Jesse Cush getting a little action at last, the punter.
Jim, this guy was a high school running back, rushed for 3,000 yards.
Have they got some players, some athletes?
He's probably the 8th-string tailback.
I'll tell you what, if this went about one more quarter, he'd probably get in the game, and he too probably average about 7 yards a run. That offensive line just so dominating. 2nd and 10. Pitch. Phillips doing a good job of grabbing that one. And Tico Brown, for that matter, grabbing him by the ankle. Florida's tips before the game, Terry, the ones you had worked up, and we can see here what maybe went wrong. This was actually, item 1 was the point you were making about tackling.
Well, Tommy Frazier is just so gifted, and so is Lawrence Phillips. Those are superior athletes. They're hard to tackle. Certainly the protection of Danny Werfel was a major problem tonight in this game. Florida's rhythm offensively was really taken away from them by the Nebraska pressure.
3rd and 4. Shotgun, Frazier. There he has his 200. First and goal inside of the 10. Your third item on your tip was beat, bump, and run. I thought maybe that was some time warp maybe some Donna Summer hit from the 70s.
Here's Tommy Frazier in the shotgun running the quarterback off tackle play. Nebraska can hit you in so many different places. It's so hard to get a hold of that offensive team. Tommy Frazier, 15 carries, 204 yards.
Career numbers in his final game at Nebraska. Phillips will lose a couple to his total. Nebraska on its way to its 25th straight win and trying to break the record for most wins in a 3-year period. The Toledo Rockets and the BYU Cougars had 35 also. I'm trying to figure out for Frazier's participation in the Shrine game when you're coaching him. I guess you're going to be running the option a little bit.
I'm going to put in the Nebraska offense as quick as I can.
Second and goal from the 10. Well, that's a 5-yard loss as Johnny Rutledge, a true freshman, comes in to drop the quarterback and hurt his total a little bit there.
Johnny Rutledge, the Florida coaches on defense felt like this one will be the next great All-American linebacker at Florida. He came there, he was a man as a freshman.
Yes, most of these 18-year-olds, you know, that you see them when they walk on campus. They come as kids and they leave the program 4 or 5 years later. They're men.
Well, this guy came in a man.
Johnny Rutledge does not count as a sack, just a 5-yard loss off of Frazier's total. And third and goal. Phillips, with that last effort, found the end zone. His third touchdown of the night. Third and goal at the 15.
If it's not Tommy Frazier, it's Lawrence Phillips up the middle.
John Zadiska with a big block, backup lineman. And this one is blocked. Florida can pick it up. Fred Weary was trying to run the distance for an added 2 points. Lawrence Phillips, watch the last effort to find the end zone, and Nebraska keeps on rolling.
Let's look at the Magnum Power Sales event one word at a time. Magnum, as in Magnum Engines, as in Dodge Ram, ranked most appealing pickup by J.D. Power and Associates. Power, overall the most powerful line of truck engines on the planet. Sales, save on 5.2 and 5.9 liter V8s, up to $670, or $500 on Cummins diesel. And event, it's the first time America's hottest pickups have ever been on sale like this. At America's Truck Stop, the new Dodge.
When they moved to the suburbs,
I look like a fairy princess.
they thought they were safe.
Hang on a sec, someone's at the door.
Then a random crime changed everything.
The man who murdered my daughter is free.
I don't even remember what she looked like.
I can't let him go. You'll spend the rest of your life in prison. I can't rest until he pays for what he did to her.
Eye for an eye. What are you gonna do? Shoot me? Rated R. Starts Friday, January 12th.
Not just of strength, but of the power of the mind. And if you complete the journey, you will be changed forever. The few, the proud, the Marines. Are you planning on serving heartburn for the holidays?
But Dad, you love peppers.
I love sausage too, but my stomach.
Ah, wait till you see the appetizer.
Pepsid AC acid controller?
Take one little Pepsid AC before dinner, and you can stop heartburn before it even starts.
Stop heartburn before it starts?
You see, Dad, Pepsid AC controls acid for 9 hours through the night, so you can sleep.
Oh. Say, you think we have enough peppers?
For the holidays, you can be heartburn-free with Pepsid AC.
Well, Terry, what was that comment about what plays does Florida have to rush with tonight?
Well, the offensive line coach said he didn't like many of the running plays against this Nebraska defense, and you can't blame them. They're the second best against the rush in the entire country.
Anthony's run back with a flag. A flag back at the 20-yard line. Mike Fullman on the tackle. Let's give Florida's Mike Peterson credit, by the way, on that extra point for knocking that one down. They've done that twice this evening. Riedel Anthony,
on the return,
little gimpy, leaving
holding
the field.
On the return team. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. 1st and 10.
On the play, 15-yard return.
After your late local news, David Letterman will return. Wonder what else he has to say about college athletics. So from the 11-yard line, we have a new quarterback. Eric Kresser comes in. 12 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He got a start this year, Terry, against Northern Illinois. And all he did in his one start was throw 6 touchdowns, a school record.
What do you have to do to be a starter at the quarterback position in Florida?
Kresser, and has the catch at the 21-yard line. That's little Travis McGriff.
To number 3, Travis McGriff.
Here, Jim, we've got a kickoff cover right there. Mobley for Florida just levels a Nebraska football player. You can see that Florida is still playing hard on the special teams, offense and defense.
2nd down and 1 from the 20. Halfway through this final quarter. Kresser having a hard time with his footing, but McGriff makes another grab. Travis McGriff, his father was a wide receiver and a good one at Florida. His father was an all-SEC wide receiver in 1974. His father, Lee McGriff, caught 14 touchdowns, and his grandfather, back in the 40s, ran track at the school. So you mentioned Terry Jackson earlier. There's a lot of history, too, in the McGriff family at Florida.
Jim, I think this is a good move by Steve Spurrier, putting Eric Kresser in the game. He's your backup quarterback. Next season, you never know what's going to happen. You don't always get him into a game. You get him into a championship game like this, give him some real experience.
1st and 10. Goring out at the 40. Now they're going to actually say first stepped out at the 47, so losing a little bit more than he had expected. 23 yards. Again, Kresser as a quarterback, Werfel was not injured. Mid-season when they played Northern Illinois, said, hey, I'm going to give you a chance. It's like, hey, coach, what do I have to do to prove I can play? He throws for 458 yards, school record, throws for 6 touchdowns, a school record, and next week, of course, has to go back to the bench.
Well, he's got a beautiful throwing motion, and he and Danny Werfel are 2 of the top players in the country at their position. They're both outstanding.
Kresser, long ball over the head of Hilliard. Hilliard and Doring now both having 100-yard nights. Receiving yardage. Doring 123. Hilliard 100 plus a touchdown. Starting backfield of Makovica and Phillips. Second and 10 from the 47. Kresser, he also took a little hit, low hit, as he was trying to find a target across the middle. How much respect do you have in this modern era of college football being able to repeat and win 25 straight.
Well, Jim, I went and watched Nebraska practice, and I had competed against Nebraska for 6 years, and I was so impressed with that football program. It's a program. Bob Devaney built it. Tom Osborne was a part of that building process. He enhanced it, and it's the strongest, most powerful program in the country today. What we're seeing here tonight is the #1 and #2 teams competing, and the #1 team in Nebraska is totally dominant in every single area.
Nebraska clearly #1. And then #2 in the final poll, Tennessee, although Tennessee lost to Florida this year, those two will be 2 and 3.
I really think Florida should be. I think they're...
Yeah, they beat them head-to-head.
They beat them head-to-head.
That has to be weighted, you would think.
Well, and I don't think you can throw out everything that Florida has done this season on the basis of one game. This is a great Florida football team that had a great season.
They held them on downs. We'll be right back.
When you're rushing in a hurry, what's for dinner? Not to worry. When a pizza just won't cut it, more Chinese, you're sick of it. For a warm and hearty supper, grab some chunky from the cupboard. It's not really such a big deal to prepare yourself a square meal. Chunks of beef and big potatoes. And of course, we've got tomatoes. Peas and vegetables galore. Chunky soup, need we say more. Campbell's Chunky. Soup that eats like a meal.
I can't believe this has happened to me. I mean, the car tires are gone and the battery's
Everybody
gone.
goes through bad times. And you can see them change if you calm them down, or you explain something to them when maybe they were feeling in a position of powerlessness.
Robin, could you call a cab?
That's a great feeling. When something happens to somebody else, I want to give that back.
Thank you so much.
I think that's what this is all about, really.
Being in good hands is the only place to be.
Tina, that's me. I'm temping.
Some office, just one guy. I think he's just starting.
Is the phone for me?
No. Ward and Associates?
Jim Ward. I can do that if you want. I got him right here. No problem.
Oh, hi. It's your mother.
Ma, can I call you later?
Your stuff is printing.
I could have that ready as well. Tonight. I could put my whole team on it if you like. Absolutely.
Its visibility and cab-forward roominess will brighten your outlook. Its dual airbags and steel door beams will help you feel safe and protected. And its fuel-injected multi-valve engine will put a smile on your face. Dodge Neon. It brings a whole new meaning to the phrase, have a nice day. $99.95 for starters, around $13.3 nicely equipped. Now get 1.9 financing, 500 cash savings, or low lease rates.
The most grueling sports event ever just turned deadly. Kate Jackson, Corbin Burnson, Michael Damian, the cold heart of a killer next Tuesday.
Just 6:45 remaining. The aerial pictures for the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl provided by News Hawk 5 helicopter, KPHO in Phoenix. So Joel Makovica, brother of the starter, Brooke Behringer in at quarterback now. Let's check in with Michael Barkin.
Jim down on the sidelines with two members of Nebraska's very first ever bowl team. It was not the Fiesta Bowl, it was the Rose Bowl. Henry Roan, fullback, and right here Roy Petch, Cowboy Roy Petch they call him, the starting quarterback. What do you think of tonight's game?
Oh, a great game. I never thought it would be this, but
what's different about this? Your game was a lot different back then. What's different about it?
Much larger and bigger, and we had to go both ways. We didn't have any specialists, so to speak, so it's a different ball game.
Big run there by Amon Green. Let's check up in the booth, Jim.
Yeah, they've broken another big one here. 42 yards for Amon Green.
You know, it doesn't matter, Jim, which tailback is in the game behind that powerful offensive line, and that's the second string offensive line in there right now.
Matt Verzel gave him a big block. It's first and goal from the 10. From Beringer. Into the line for about 5.
Jim, when I went to the Nebraska practice, I was over with the offensive line for about 10 minutes. I kind of gravitate to those areas of the field. And honestly, Nebraska was 3 deep. Every football player looked like he was 285 pounds or plus. Very strong. No one was fat, out of shape. They were just mammoth players that were incredibly well-built and conditioned.
Damon Binning comes in. He's the 4th tailback to see action tonight. Just a few inches shy of the goal line. Tico Brown makes the hit. Damon Binning also got a chance to start this year. We gave you the rotation with Phillips opening the start of the season, then Childs in 1 game before he went out with a knee, got his 100 yards. Binning came in against Pacific, rushed for 173 yards, 3 touchdowns before he went out with an ankle, and that's when it opened the door at last for the freshman Amon Green, who took it for 1,000 yards the rest of the way during the season.
They just keep bringing the tailbacks at you.
I'm telling you. Beringer, touchdown. They've upped the total over 60 now. Extra point by Ted Ratzliff. Waverly, Nebraska, he boots it through. 62 to 18.
I thought I put the keys in this fanny pack. Oh.
Now what are we going to do? Well, the Super Bowl's only a month away. And it's going to be played right here. But we don't have tickets.
Tickets? Who needs tickets?
Yeah, we got plenty of baked Tostitos tortilla chips and loads of Tostitos salsa. Hey, I found the keys.
Really?
No, not really.
I don't care what it takes. You get me Dion.
Are you ready? I was born ready. Run, cowboy.
Hot dang, if I had 11 men like that, I could rule the world.
You've taken a solemn oath.
You really gonna be on the Fano trial? I need a little excitement.
Now, I chose you over all of the other jurors because I know who you are when you wake up. Wherever you go, he's there. Whatever you say, he hears. You're never out of my thoughts. He'll never leave your side until he hears 2 words. Not guilty.
I can't.
You will.
Oh, God, no!
Demi Moore, Alec Baldwin, The Juror, rated R. At theaters February 2nd.
Let's look at the Magnum Power Sales event 1 word at a time. Magnum, as in Magnum Engines, as in Dodge Ram, ranked most appealing pickup by J.D. Power & Associates. Power, overall the most powerful line of truck engines on the planet. Sales, save on 5.2 and 5.9 liter V8s, up to $670, or $500 on Cummins diesel. And event, it's the first time America's hottest pickups have ever been on sale like this. At America's Truck Stop, the new Dodge.
Friday, a skyjacking leads to a crash course in survival.
If I become disoriented, then we'll really be in a pickle.
An all-new Due South, Friday.
All right, Terry, you were a little nervous about those tiebreaker rules. You want to go over them right now, or is it not necessary?
Oh, Jim, never in my wildest dreams would I have thought.
Anthony keeps. Anthony breaking it free. Riddell Anthony down the sideline. He ran one back against Auburn. He's got one tonight against Nebraska. 92 yards.
What's great about that, Jim, is it shows you the spirit of college football. You just keep competing. Some days it's your days, some days it's not. But if you just keep competing, you have a chance to keep your pride and feel good about yourself.
You thought I was kidding about the tiebreaker? Here they come. Well, they faked that a few times tonight on the kick, and Anthony able to get past Chris Brown.
I love it when players just keep fighting and keep competing. I'll tell you, Steve Spurrier does too. Never in his wildest dreams did he ever envision Nebraska putting 62 points on him. But his players are still in the fight, and the game isn't over, and they're still going.
So like you say, that's all you ask for as a coach.
That's all you can ever ask for. Florida's been on the other side of this. You know, they've scored lots of points this season.
Received criticism for it, and, right? Spurrier has always said, though, hey, all I tell my team is to go in. When it's your chance to play, second or third team, all I want you to do is play hard. So he has to respect that Nebraska's still playing hard, and his kids did right there, too.
Sure they are. They're still playing hard. And Nebraska continues to
play hard. Look at this. They got a chance to pick up, too. It's Christian Peter. Christian Peter, all for naught, the ruin the play dead. Christian Peter goes all the way downfield with the football, but they're going to bring it back. Jared Tomich hit Eric Kresser. So the Nebraska fans who remain unhappy. Well, that looked like a pretty clean fumble, but just put the 6 up for Florida.
Some of the people who benefit most from the Discover card don't even have one. Hi, I'm Scott Hamilton. Each year the Discover Card youth programs recognize thousands of kids who are making a difference. In fact, Discover Card has already contributed over $16 million in support of this unique collection of programs. So as long as there are kids with dreams, we'll be here, helping them reach those dreams.
I thought I knew it all till you came. Now you cry and I don't know why. What are you thinking? Can you dream? So maybe I don't know it all. Like making the right decisions for your future. You're the helpless one, but I'm the one who needs a hand now.
There is more at stake now. Ask a Merrill Lynch financial consultant who can help with a plan and more ways to make the plan work than anyone else. The difference is planning. The difference is Merrill Lynch.
62-24. Liddell Anthony, 92-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. Failed to complete the two-point try. Looked like a pure fumble, but the quarterback was down. The presser was down, and here Tim Carpenter was rambling with the football for a moment. I've got a few bowl records coming in from Nebraska. Individual rushing record had been held by Mike Rozier of 147 yards, blown out tonight by Tommy Frazier. And also, Phillips has broken that mark also. Frazier's number's 199. He had a 5-yard loss on his last carry. Took him out of the 200 range. Wow. Into the line for about 3. They've also set an all-time Nebraska Bowl record for rushing yardage. That same year that Rozier had 147, the team had 306. Tonight, 470 and counting.
Above their season average.
70 yards above their season average. Most yards ever total offense for Nebraska in a bowl game, 575. Most points in a bowl game by Nebraska, bettering their 1969 Sun Bowl total of 45 with 62 points. Then Childs getting the handoff to the 49-yard line.
You know, a year or two, Tom Osborne changed his preparation for bowl games. They had had a losing streak that was going on. He came back and said, you know, sometimes we don't have the timing that you need on the option play to play well in bowl games. So they started practicing sooner after their last game. As an example, this year they played Oklahoma 4 days later, they went to the practice field and started working for this game. He believed, that the Nebraska coaching staff believed, that it really kept the timing for the option and for their offense in sync. And sure enough, tonight, they put it over 60 points on the board.
I think they're in sync.
I think they're having their timing.
They've thrown everything but the kitchen sink, you know, as they say. Joe Makovica ran at that time. Yeah, they had lost 7 straight bowl games.
Well, you know,
before last year.
Well, you know, bowl games, they're hard to win. You're always playing a good team.
It's, you know, a streak that ended at last year. Now they're about to win a 2nd straight national championship. 4th and a yard to go. Armand Green reaching for it. And he's going to have enough for the first down.
Tackle by Jackson and Weary.
No, before we give them that first down, I think they'll bring the chains out and chance to marvel at the record amassed this year by the Big 8. Not only during the season, but also during the bowl season. They have 4 teams with at least 10 wins now that the year is over. Kansas State, Colorado, and Nebraska. That has never happened before, where one conference produced 4 10-win teams. Plus, all 4 of them won in the bowl season, undefeated in the bowl season.
Well, the Big 8 Conference, along with the SEC, the Southeast Conference, certainly have had big years this year. They've got some excellent teams in both conferences, but the Big 8 certainly had its year this year.
James Sims has come in at tailback. James Sims for about 3 yards. He carried it 30 times this year for 270 yards. He had a 9-yard rushing average.
Jim, I think the most interesting comment of all of the bowl preparation was when I heard the Nebraska coaches on defense say that they were going to stop the Florida run. They not only stopped the run, they stopped the pass, they stopped it all tonight. They were brilliant.
2nd and 7. Damon Benning has come in now, tailback. And Billy Legate, a freshman from Elgin, Nebraska, getting a carry. So Tom Osborne getting a lot of players a chance to get into the game here at the end, playing the championship game and contribute. 48 academic All-Americas all-time at Nebraska. Far away, the all-time leading producer of academic All-Americas.
Now quarterback for Nebraska, number 11, Matt
3rd and 7, and Matt Turman in at quarterback. Turman on the pitch to Childs. Childs out of bounds after getting the first down. Just 1:15 remaining now. Nebraska will just be able to run it out. This one will sting for a long time, but when they get back to playing football next fall, Steve Spurrier's team might be preseason number 1.
I think they will be. Yeah. I think they have a great chance, probably along with Tennessee. You can't rule out Nebraska, though. I don't know how you don't pick them again. They got to replace, obviously, Tommy Frazier, but once they do that, they're going to just keep right on rolling.
And we've seen 2nd and 3rd teamers tonight, even when the game was still on the line, contributing.
Well, I think Florida's had a great year, and I know this game hurts, and the Florida players go through a period of time here, but they're going to remember a lot of the good times they had, and this will pass. It always does in football.
2nd down and 8. And Nebraska's James Sims out into the secondary. Look out. Look out. Sims stopped at the 1. 32-yard run. Well, they're getting all set up. They know better than to try to do that on Tom Osborne, right?
They got one of the assistant coaches. Those guys are smart.
629 yards total offense. Any questions? No, they're going to go for the coach. They got him after all.
He doesn't mind, not now.
Come on, Tom. Go ahead, crack a smile. You have won a second straight national championship. 25 straight wins for the Cornhuskers. One of the most dominating stretches in college football history. And tonight, we talk about domination. In a championship game, in a big game, you don't see it to this degree very often.
We may have seen one of the best teams in the history of college football tonight, Jim.
Well, the Chevrolet most valuable players of the game are Tommy Frazier from Nebraska, Chris Doring of Florida. Celebrating its 25th year of college football sponsorship, Chevrolet will donate $1,000 to each school's general scholarship fund to reward outstanding students for their academic achievements and to assist those in financial need. Nebraska, there is no doubt, they are the nation's national champion, by far the best in college football.
Re-engineering results in a paradigm shift in the corporate matrix.
What? Experiencing system overload? We're going to crash. Better click on Office Max. The Office Product Superstore. Electronics, computers, software. With great brand names like Sharp or Hewlett-Packard. At guaranteed low prices that will re-engineer your budget. You can even shop online. Get the latest business technology without even shifting your paradigm. Whatever that means. Office Max. We go to the max for you.
I'm going to take the stairs up to my office every day. I'm giving up desserts during the week.
50 sit-ups every morning before my shower.
This new year, why not make a resolution that's easy to keep? Kellogg's Complete Bran Flakes. High fiber, low in fat, and a crispy taste that's easy to stick with.
I'm going to walk a mile every day.
Kellogg's Complete Bran Flakes. An easy start to a healthier new year.
The only mystery now is whether or not after scoring 62 points and winning his second national championship, Tom Osborne can crack a smile for us here. Nebraska 62, Florida 24. Welcome back, folks, to Sun Devil Stadium. I'm Pat O'Brien, along with my partner, Boomer Esiason, and welcome to the Ford Taurus postgame show. And Boomer, any thoughts?
Well, you know, if you're a Florida Gator, you realize how humbling and how humiliating this game can be. And certainly as an active player right now, I sympathize with their players and, of course, their coaching staff. On the other side, you realize how exhilarating and how exciting a national championship can be. And congratulations to Tommy Frazier on what was a pinnacle playing game for his final game as a Nebraska Cornhusker.
And Terry Donahue said that they were playing a program tonight, and all the fans of that program are waiting now for the trophy presentation. Let's go down to Michelle Tafoya. Michelle?
All right, Pat, I am joined by the president of the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl, Perd Thomas, who is ready with the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl National Championship Trophy to present to Nebraska head coach Tom Osborne. Perd?
On behalf of our 2,500 volunteers, I want to thank and compliment our partners, Tostitos, Frito-Lay Corporation, and CBS Sports. They're absolutely the best. And it's my privilege to present the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl winning trophy to Coach Tom Osborne in Nebraska.
All right. And that's not the only one. Perd, you've got one more on behalf of the Bowl Alliance. It is the first ever Great Games National Championship Trophy. Perd?
Coach, I'd also like to present you with the Great Games Trophy on behalf of College Football's Alliance. Congratulations, Coach.
Thank you. Thanks, Perd.
Coach. A little too heavy, huh? Back-to-back national championships. Try to describe the emotion right now.
Well, we're really pleased with the effort of our football team. I'd like to thank all the Nebraska fans. It's almost like a home game down here. We appreciate that. Great effort all year long. I think our team has great character, and just really proud of them, pleased with what they did.
Does it make it more special after such a tumultuous year?
Well, we'll take it. All right.
Thank you, Coach. Let's bring up Tommy Frazier. Congratulations.
Thank you.
An outstanding performance. You ran the option to almost perfection.
Well, that's something that we worked on all week. We knew that if we just blocked it right, then it was going to be effective for us. We came out and just ran it. We made great plays from it.
I can't imagine a better way to end your career at Nebraska.
Well, I had a great career in Nebraska, and there's no better way to end it. I want to thank all the fans for all the support, and I want to thank my teammates. That's the most important. I want to thank the Lord Jesus Christ above. Without him, I wouldn't be able to accomplish anything that I have.
We heard rumor to the effect that Coach Osborne was a little bit more emotional at halftime and in the pregame tonight.
Yeah, he was a little bit more emotional. He really wanted this one to prove to everyone that we're a great team and nothing's going to change that.
Let's take a look at one of your big runs tonight. I believe this one came in the third quarter. We'll take a look. Describe it.
Well, right here, I was just taking on an option fake. Guy grabbed me. The linebacker escaped, and I just stuck up and just tried my best to not turn the ball over. Here it is, trying to tackle the ball, and I'm just struggling, just keeping my legs going. And there it is, I'm off to the races.
Off to the races, indeed. I think you shook about 10 tackles there, Tommy. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Let's send it back up to Pat.
All right, Michelle, thank you very much. And that replay will be played time and time again all over the country tomorrow.
Well, Tommy Frazier just had an awesome game. He ran for 199 yards. I don't think I've done that in my entire career, Pat.
He had an awesome day. They all had an awesome day and evening. We'll be back in a moment. Stay with us.
Ford F-Series has been the best-selling truck in the world for 19 straight years. Now we're about to launch the next in line. The all-new 1997 Ford F-150. More power, more V8 payload, more new ideas. The new Ford F-150. Strength after strength after strength.
Recently, the Broncos and 49ers showcased their talents in Tokyo.
Love is a many splendored thing.
At Zone West Karaoke,
Your man. Blame it on the bossa nova. The dance of love.
where the players brought no ability to carry a tune, but did bring their Visa card.
Was it the moon?
Because Zone West can accept just about anything except American Express.
Everybody sing. It's the April rose that only...
Whopper, 99 cents. Get your burger's worth.
In business today, you never know what's going to creep up on you. The smallest things can disrupt your cellular calls, your business calls, your faxes. But now, AT&T, with the most reliable long-distance network, can protect your business against all of that.
Good evening, Mr. Katz.
Guaranteed network reliability, only from AT&T, for the life of your business.
Nebraska football team here on the Ford Taurus postgame show, still on the field at Sun Devil Stadium, resting on their laurels, which they will for some time, Boomer Esiason, and Nebraska wins 62-24, of course, and the interview that Steve Spurrier did not want to do is the following one right here with Michael Barkin. Michael.
Oh, absolutely, Pat. Coach Spurrier, when did you see it all just start to fall apart? Because early, it was looking pretty good.
Mike, even though we were had 10-6 there at one point, that was a difficult 10 points. We were barely getting the passes off. I mean, Nebraska's just way better than us. That's all you can say. They just clobbered us. They outcoached us, outplayed us, and they really play hard. I'm really impressed with their team, by far the best team we've played, I think, in the 6 years I've been at Florida.
You knew about their offense. They were top ranked, but what about their defense?
Well, we knew it was going to be tough to run on them, and maybe we should have tried some more, but we got smashed up front. That's all you can say, and we couldn't tackle their guys very well. Tommy Frazier made us look like we weren't trying at times. But if we're ever going to beat a team like Nebraska, we got to be as strong as they are, maybe, and come to the ballpark ready to play. You got to credit Coach Osborne and his staff for really getting those guys to play hard every play.
I got to ask what your thinking was, and I'm sure you'll be second-guessed in Gainesville. You're on your own goal line. You got 5 wides, and they get the safety on Danny, and that really opened the floodgates for him. What was your thinking there?
My thinking was that was a good play. They only got 2. If we punt out of our end zone, they're going to get on the 30-yard line or something like that. So we got some protections messed up. There's no question about it. We were out of sync, but still, even when we had a bunch of guys in there blocking, it wasn't quite good enough.
All right, tough one, Coach. Pat, we'll send it back to you.
Are you telling me that 2 points is what caused us to lose?
No.
The Class Act. Coming up on CBS, your late local news, and then the Late Show with David Letterman, who was great at halftime, and then the Late Show with Tom Snyder. We'll be back here with a comment and a goodbye after this.
The new Ford Taurus. When seen, it leaves an impression. When driven, creates a stir. When owned, lives up to its promise. And when judged, wins award after award after award after award. The new Ford Taurus, the success story that never ends.
Making the dream come true.